Logan Carter steps onto the gleaming ceremonial platform, unwittingly triggering an alien breeding ritual that will change his life and potentially Earth's future forever. The human diplomat's eyes widen as a hush falls over the gathered Ulians, their iridescent skin shimmering under the planet's twin suns. By the ancient laws of Ulia, you have initiated the rite of union, intones Aura, the Ulian high priestess, her multifaceted eyes fixed on Logan. You are now a contestant in our most sacred tradition? Logan's mind races, trying to process the gravity of his misstep. He'd come to Ulia as part of Earth's delegation, hoping to forge bonds with this advanced alien species. Now he finds himself thrust into a competition he never intended to enter. I don't understand, Logan stammers, acutely aware of the hundreds of alien eyes upon him. What exactly does this ritual entail? Aura's voice carries across the ceremonial grounds. You will face a series of challenges against our finest males. Should you emerge victorious, you will be granted the honor of breeding with all eligible Ulian females. Logan's heart pounds. The prospect of mating with hundreds of alien females both excites and terrifies him. But as the implications of his situation sink in, he realizes the stakes are far higher than his personal comfort. Earth desperately needs the aliens' advanced terraforming technology to ensure humanity's survival and expansion into the stars. Winning this ritual could secure that technology, while failure, or worse, withdrawal, could sever all ties with the aliens. As Logan contemplates his predicament, a towering alien male strides onto the platform. Muscles ripple beneath his blue-green skin as he regards Logan with a mix of curiosity and disdain. This is Zax, Aura announces. He will be your first opponent in the test of strength and agility. Logan swallows hard, knowing that his performance in this challenge will determine whether he advances or faces immediate elimination. He's woefully unprepared for the alien trials ahead, but he can't back down now. The fate of Earth's diplomatic relations, and possibly its future, rests on his shoulders. Zax takes a fighting stance, his limbs coiling with potential energy. Logan mirrors him, desperately trying to recall his basic combat training. He knows he must adapt quickly to Ulian physiology and customs if he hopes to stand a chance. As the signal to begin the challenge sounds, Logan steels himself for the battle ahead. He's not just fighting for his own survival now, but for the future of humanity. With a deep breath, he launches himself towards Zax, determined to prove that humans are worthy competitors in this cosmic arena. The first test of the Ulian breeding ritual begins, and with it, Logan's journey into an alien world of physical prowess, mental acuity, and interstellar diplomacy. The human accidentally thrust into this sacred tradition must now rise to the occasion, or risk losing everything. As Logan launches himself towards Zax, the air around them crackles with tension. The human's heart pounds in his chest, each beat a reminder of the enormity of the task before him. Zax's four muscular arms reach out, seeking to ensnare his smaller opponent. Logan's basic combat training kicks in, muscle memory guiding his movements as he ducks and weaves. His human agility proves surprisingly effective against the alien's raw power. Zax's hands grasp at empty air as Logan slips just beyond his reach. The arena erupts in a cacophony of alien voices, a mixture of excitement and disbelief at the unexpected display of skill from the human contestant. Logan catches glimpses of the spectator's iridescent skin, shimmering under the twin suns as he maneuvers around his opponent. Aura's multifaceted eyes track every movement, her expression unreadable to Logan's human perception. He can only hope his performance is making a positive impression on the alien high priestess. As the duel continues, Logan becomes acutely aware of the platform beneath his feet. The surface, smooth and slightly springy, vibrates with each of Zax's heavy steps. Beyond the edge, a vast bioluminescent ocean stretches to the horizon, its glow a constant reminder of the consequences of failure. Zax's initial confidence begins to waver as Logan consistently evades his grasp. The alien's movements grow more frantic, his attacks less coordinated. Logan seizes on this shift, recognizing it as his chance to turn the tables. During one of Zax's wilder lunges, Logan drops low, using his smaller stature to his advantage. He positions himself directly under the Olean's center of gravity and, with a surge of adrenaline-fueled strength, heaves upward. The crowd gasps as Zax's massive form lifts off the ground. For a moment, time seems to slow. Logan can see the shock in his opponent's alien eyes, the realization of impending defeat. Then, with a final push, Logan sends Zax tumbling over his shoulder. The alien teeters on the edge of the platform, arms windmilling in a desperate attempt to regain balance. In a last-ditch effort, Zax's hands latch onto Logan's shoulders, pulling the human towards the precipice. Logan's world narrows to a single point of focus: survival. With clarity born of desperation, he plants his feet firmly on the platform's edge. Using Zax's own momentum against him, Logan pushes off the alien's broad chest. The force of his action propels Logan backward onto solid ground. Simultaneously, it provides the final nudge that sends Zax plummeting into the glowing waters below. A beat of silence falls over the arena, broken only by the splash of Zax hitting the ocean's surface. Then a roar of sound washes over Logan as the spectators react to his unexpected victory. Panting heavily, Logan stands at the edge of the platform, his mind struggling to process what just transpired. He watches as attendants rush to fish Zax out of the bioluminescent waters, the defeated Ulian's skin now shimmering with a coating of glowing droplets. Aura approaches, her movements graceful and measured. Up close, Logan can see subtle shifts in her iridescent skin, patterns that suggest approval and intrigue. "You have passed the first test, Logan Carter of Earth," Aura announces, her voice carrying across the now hushed arena. "But do not let this victory make you complacent. Many challenges lie ahead, each designed to test different aspects of a potential mate." Logan nods, still catching his breath. What kind of challenges, he manages to ask. Aura's multifaceted eyes seem to sparkle with amusement. Strength, intelligence, adaptability, and more. Your success today has not only advanced you in the competition, but has also sparked great interest among our females. They now see you as a potential contributor to the alien genetic pool. The implications of her words send a shiver down Logan's spine. He's one step closer to the daunting prospect of mating with hundreds of alien females, and to securing the terraforming technology Earth so desperately needs. As attendants lead Logan to a recovery area, he notices the diverse array of competitors gathered there. Beings of various shapes, sizes, and colors mill about, some nursing injuries, others engaged in quiet conversation. The true scale of this interstellar competition begins to dawn on him. A lithe, silver-skinned female approaches Logan, her movements fluid and graceful. "Impressive performance out there," she says, her voice melodious. "I'm Lyra, an emissary from the Centauri system." Logan inclines his head in greeting, acutely aware of his sweat-soaked appearance next to her pristine form. "Logan Carter from Earth. Nice to meet you, Lyra." Lyra's eyes, a swirling mix of purple and blue, study Logan intently. "I couldn't help but notice your unique approach to the challenge. It's not often we see a newcomer best one of the alien champions." "Beginner's luck, maybe," Logan replies, attempting to downplay his achievement. Lyra's lips curl into a knowing smile. "I think it's more than that. Listen, Logan, I have a proposition for you. This competition is as much about political maneuvering as it is about physical prowess. What do you say to forming an alliance? Together, we might both achieve our goals." Logan considers her offer, weighing the potential benefits against the risks of trusting an unknown alien entity. Before he can respond, an announcement echoes through the recovery area. "All competitors prepare for the next challenge. The test of mental acuity and problem-solving will commence shortly." Lyra's expression turns serious. "Think about my offer, Logan. The challenges only get more difficult from here." With a final nod, she glides away, leaving Logan to contemplate his next move. As Logan begins his mental preparations for the upcoming test, he can't help but feel the weight of his situation pressing down on him. Each victory brings him closer to his goal, but also deeper into the complex web of alien politics and rituals. The fate of Earth's future hangs in the balance, dependent on his ability to navigate this cosmic obstacle course. Taking a deep breath, Logan steels himself for the challenges ahead. The journey through the Ullian breeding ritual has only just begun, and he knows he must stay focused if he hopes to emerge victorious, for his own sake and for the future of humanity. As Logan caught his breath in the recovery area, the announcement for the next challenge echoed through the space. His muscles still ached from the physical bout with Zax, but there was no time to rest. The test of mental acuity and problem-solving was about to begin. The arena underwent a startling transformation before Logan's eyes. The ceremonial platform dissolved into a vast, three-dimensional maze filled with shimmering holographic projections and pathways that seemed to shift and change with each passing moment. Logan and the remaining contestants, including Lyra, were ushered to different entry points around the labyrinth's perimeter. Aura's voice resonated through the arena. Competitors, you will now face the maze of minds, navigate its ever-changing paths, and solve the puzzles within. Your cognitive abilities will be tested to their limits. Logan took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenge ahead. As he stepped into the maze, he immediately felt the difference in the environment. The air hummed with energy, and the holographic projections responded to his presence, morphing and adapting as he moved. The first puzzle materialized before him, a complex array of interconnected symbols that seemed vaguely familiar. With a jolt, Logan realized they represented Earth's continents. The Ullians had incorporated human-specific elements into the challenge. As Logan worked through the puzzle, rearranging the continents to match Earth's true geography, he became aware of the watchful eyes of the Ullian High Council. Aura and her peers observed from a floating platform above the maze, their multifaceted eyes tracking every move. Deeper into the labyrinth, Logan encountered increasingly difficult challenges. One puzzle required him to predict the weather patterns of an alien planet based on its multiple moons' positions. Another tested his ability to decipher an unknown alien language using only context clues from holographic images. Logan's mind raced, drawing on his diplomatic training and the knowledge he'd accumulated since arriving on Ulia. He found himself thinking in new ways, approaching problems from angles he'd never considered before. The constantly shifting environment forced him to adapt rapidly, using his human intuition to overcome obstacles that might stump even the most logical alien minds. As he rounded a corner, Logan spotted Lyra struggling with a particularly difficult puzzle. A holographic representation of a complex molecule hovered before her, its atoms rapidly rearranging themselves. Despite the competitive nature of the ritual, Logan remembered their earlier conversation about an alliance. He approached Lyra, calling out, "Need a hand?" Lyra's swirling eyes met his, a mix of relief and wariness in her gaze. "I thought we were meant to solve these alone." Logan shrugged. "Nothing in the rules against cooperation, is there?" Together, they tackled the molecular puzzle. Logan's understanding of basic chemistry combined with Lyra's knowledge of alien elements allowed them to stabilize the molecule structure. As the puzzle dissolved, signaling their success, Logan caught a glimpse of the Ullian observers. Their iridescent skin rippled with patterns he couldn't quite decipher, but he sensed their interest had intensified. The maze's difficulty increased exponentially as Logan neared the center. He faced a final challenge that required him to integrate knowledge from multiple alien cultures, including Ullian history and customs. Drawing upon everything he learned, Logan pieced together the complex tapestry of interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. As the last piece fell into place, the maze walls shimmered and faded. Logan found himself standing in the center of the arena, his heart pounding with exertion and excitement. Other competitors emerged from different points, some looking frustrated, others triumphant. A tall, slender Ullian approached Logan. Her skin shimmered with patterns that reminded him of complex mathematical equations. "I am Zira," she introduced herself, her voice carrying a hint of harmonics that sent a shiver down Logan's spine. "I oversee the development of our terraforming technology." Logan's pulse quickened. This was the very technology Earth so desperately needed. "Your performance was unexpected," Zira continued. "How do humans approach problem solving? Your methods seem to defy our predictive models." Before Logan could respond, Aura's voice rang out across the arena. The results of the mental acuity challenge have been tabulated. Logan held his breath, acutely aware of the hundreds of eyes fixed upon him. Logan Carter of Earth, Aura announced, her multifaceted eyes gleaming, you have ranked among the top 3 contestants in this trial. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Logan caught sight of the Ulian females in attendance, their iridescent skin pulsing with what he now recognized as excitement and curiosity. As the competitors were led to their quarters to rest before the next challenge, Logan overheard snippets of a heated discussion among the Ulian council members. Words like human DNA, genetic potential, and unknown risks drifted to his ears. Logan's mind reeled with the implications of his success. He had entered this competition by accident, hoping merely to secure diplomatic ties and access to terraforming technology. Now he found himself at the center of a potential shift in Ulian society itself. As he approached his quarters, a young Ulian female stepped out of the shadows. Her skin shimmered with vibrant patterns that seemed almost rebellious in their complexity. I am Nara, she said in a low voice, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. I represent a progressive faction within our society. Your success has sparked a movement among us. We believe interspecies breeding could be key to our future adaptation and survival. Logan's eyebrows shot up in surprise. I had no idea my participation would cause such a stir. Nara leaned in closer. I can provide you with insider information about the upcoming challenges. But be warned, accepting my help could be seen as cheating by the more conservative elements of our society. Logan's mind raced. The offer was tempting, but the risks were high. As he pondered his response, the weight of his newfound responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders. The next challenge loomed ahead, and with it, the potential to reshape not just Earth's future, but that of the alien species as well. Well, as the gravity of his situation sank in, Logan made a decision that would alter the course of his journey through the alien breeding ritual. All right, Nara, he said in a hushed tone, glancing around to ensure they were still alone. I'll accept your help, but we need to be discreet. Nara's skin rippled with patterns of excitement and relief. She leaned in closer, her voice barely above a whisper. The next challenge takes place in our harshest desert region. It's a test of physical endurance and adaptability. Logan listened intently as Nara detailed the upcoming trial. A 50-mile course through treacherous terrain, toxic geysers, and carnivorous plant life. Contestants would need to reach checkpoints while collecting specific botanical samples. Armed with this insider knowledge, Logan spent the night preparing. He gathered supplies, studied alien desert survival techniques, and mentally mapped out strategies for the challenges ahead. As dawn broke, Logan and the remaining contestants were transported to the vast Ulian desert. The landscape stretched out before them, a sea of shifting sand dunes under the glare of twin suns. The air shimmered with heat, and in the distance, plumes of steam rose from scattered geysers. Aura's voice rang out across the assembled competitors. Your next trial begins now. Navigate the course, reach the checkpoints, and collect the required samples. May your bodies and minds prove as adaptable as they are strong. With a signal, the challenge commenced. Logan surged forward, his preparation immediately paying off. He navigated the initial dunes with practiced ease, outpacing many of his alien competitors who struggled with the unfamiliar terrain. As he crested a particularly steep dune, Logan caught sight of a checkpoint in the distance. A cluster of crystalline structures jutted from the sand, surrounded by a field of swaying, tentacle-like plants. He approached cautiously, remembering Nara's warning about carnivorous flora. Suddenly, the ground beneath Logan's feet began to tremble. A geyser erupted mere meters away, spewing a toxic mist into the air. He held his breath and sprinted past, the caustic vapor singeing the hairs on his arms. Logan reached the checkpoint and quickly located the botanical sample he needed. A small, iridescent flower nestled among the dangerous tentacle plants. With careful maneuvering, he managed to pluck one without triggering the plant's predatory response. As he secured the sample, a distant roar caught his attention. Logan turned to see a massive wall of sand approaching, a sandstorm of epic proportions. His heart raced as he remembered Nara's words of caution about this particular hazard. The storm engulfed the desert, turning day into night. Logan's visibility dropped to zero, and the fine silica-rich Ulian sand assaulted his lungs. He struggled to breathe, his human physiology ill-equipped to handle the harsh conditions. Through the howling wind, Logan heard a familiar voice. "Logan, over here!" It was Lyra, the Centauri competitor he'd allied with earlier. He stumbled towards her voice, gasping for air. Lyra's silver form materialized from the swirling sand, her eyes glowing like beacons in the storm. "We need to find shelter," Logan wheezed, struggling to speak. Lyra nodded, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with persistence. "I can sense electromagnetic fields. There's a stable formation this way. Follow me." They pressed on through the storm, Logan sharing his water purification tablets with Lyra while she guided them towards safety. After what felt like hours, they reached a rocky outcropping that offered some protection from the raging sandstorm. As they huddled in the makeshift shelter, Logan noticed other competitors stumbling past, some collapsing from exhaustion or respiratory distress. Despite the competitive nature of the ritual, he and Lyra ventured out multiple times to drag struggling aliens to safety. When the storm finally subsided, they emerged to find the desert landscape transformed. Many competitors had been forced to withdraw, unable to withstand the extreme conditions. Logan and Lyra pressed on, their unlikely alliance proving invaluable. They reached a field of the rare medicinal plants they were required to collect, only to discover the floor was guarded by massive, predatory insects. "I have an idea," Logan said, eyeing the insects warily. "I'll distract them. You grab the samples." Lyra hesitated. "That's too dangerous. We should find another way." "Trust me," Logan insisted. "I'm faster than I look." With a nod from Lyra, Logan sprang into action. He darted around the field, drawing the insects' attention with swift movements and loud calls. Lyra seized the opportunity, her lithe form blurring as she harvested the needed samples with incredible speed. As they regrouped, samples secured, Logan noticed a group of Ulian observers watching from a distance. Aura and Zira were among them, their multifaceted eyes fixed on the human Centauri team with obvious interest. The final checkpoint loomed ahead, a towering spire of crystalline rock that shimmered in the harsh desert sun. As Logan and Lyra approached, they spotted an Ulian contestant collapsed at the base of the spire, clearly injured and unable to continue. Without hesitation, they rushed to the fallen alien's aid. Logan used his limited medical knowledge to assess the alien's condition, while Lyra fashioned a makeshift stretcher from their gear. "We can't leave him here," Logan said, looking at the distant finish line. "We'll have to carry him." Lyra's swirling eyes met his, a mix of admiration and concern in her gaze. "It will slow us down significantly. We might lose our lead." Logan shrugged. "Some things are more important than winning." Together, they lifted the injured Ulian onto the stretcher and began the arduous trek towards the finish line. The extra weight and the unforgiving terrain made every step a challenge, but they pressed on, driven by a shared sense of duty. As they crested the final dune, the finish line came into view. A crowd had gathered, watching in fascination as the unlikely trio approached. Logan and Lyra, exhausted but determined, crossed the line with their Ulian charge between them. Medical staff rushed forward to attend to the injured contestant, while Logan and Lyra collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. As they recovered, Logan noticed the intense discussions taking place among the Ulian High Council members. Aura approached, her iridescent skin pulsing with patterns Logan was beginning to recognize as approval and intrigue. "Logan Carter of Earth," she began, her voice carrying across the now hushed gathering. "Your performance in this challenge, coupled with your previous successes, has elevated you to an unprecedented position in our ritual." Logan's eyes widened as he realized the implications of her words. He had come to Ulia seeking diplomatic ties and access to terraforming technology. Now he found himself a prime candidate for genetic contribution to the Ulian species. Aura continued, her multifaceted eyes gleaming with curiosity. "The next phase of our ritual will involve more intimate challenges. These are designed to test genetic compatibility and mating potential." Logan's heart raced as the reality of his situation sank in. He was advancing much further in the competition than he had ever anticipated, and the prospect of actually mating with Ulian females was becoming a very real possibility. As medical staff led Logan to a private chamber for rest and recovery, he noticed a group of young Ulian females watching him with obvious interest. Among them stood Nara, who gave him a subtle nod of encouragement. Logan entered the chamber, his knees going weak from the day's events and the challenges that lay ahead. He had entered this competition by accident, but now found himself at the center of a potential shift in Ulian society. As he settled onto a soft, conforming bed, Logan realized that his success in the ritual was not just changing his own fate, but potentially reshaping the future of human-Ulian relations. The next phase of challenges loomed before him, more personal, more intimate, and with far-reaching consequences for both his own species and the Ulians. As exhaustion overtook him, Logan's last thoughts were of Earth, and the weight of responsibility that now rested on his shoulders. As Logan drifted off to sleep, he had no idea how drastically his situation was about to change. The next morning, Logan was awakened by a gentle chime. An Ulian attendant stood at the entrance of his chamber, her skin shimmering with patterns of respect and urgency. "Logan Carter of Earth, your presence is requested at the Central Medical Facility," she announced, her multifaceted eyes blinking in rapid succession. The next phase of the ritual awaits. As Logan followed the attendant through the winding corridors of the Ulian complex, he noticed a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Ulians they passed stared at him with a mix of curiosity and anticipation, their skin patterns flickering with an intensity he hadn't seen before. The Central Medical Facility was a marvel of alien architecture and technology. Crystalline structures pulsed with bioluminescent energy, and holographic displays flickered with streams of incomprehensible data. At the center of it all stood Dr. Ilera, her form tall and imposing even among her own kind. "Welcome, Logan," Dr. Ilera greeted him, her voice a melodious blend of tones. "Your performance in the previous challenges has yielded unexpected results." Logan's heart raced as Dr. Ilera guided him through a series of non-invasive scans. Beams of light danced across his skin, and he felt a tingling sensation as invisible fields probed his genetic makeup. "Fascinating," Dr. Ilera murmured, her eyes widening as she studied the results. "Your human DNA shows remarkable potential for hybridization with our own. The genetic diversity you bring, it could be the key to our species' future adaptation." As the examinations continued, Logan's mind reeled with the implications. He had come to Ulia seeking diplomatic ties and terraforming technology. Now he found himself at the center of a potential biological revolution. The doors to the examination room slid open, and 5 Ulian females entered. Logan recognized Nara immediately, her skin patterns a complex dance of excitement and nervousness. The others introduced themselves. Zara, with her calculating gaze, Lyria exuding an aura of calm diplomacy, Vela, her posture radiating military precision, and Mira, whose eyes seemed to see beyond the physical realm. "These are your potential mates, Logan," Dr. Ilera explained. "Each has been selected based on genetic compatibility and societal role. The next phase of the ritual will assess your ability to form meaningful connections with them." What followed was a whirlwind of activity. Logan found himself engaged in a series of simulations and exercises designed to test his compatibility with each Ulian female. He solved complex puzzles with Zara, navigated delicate diplomatic scenarios with Lyria, strategized fictional military campaigns with Vela, and explored abstract concepts through art with Mira. Throughout it all, Logan found his thoughts returning to Nara. Their interactions were charged with an undercurrent of shared understanding and mutual fascination. During a simulated crisis scenario, they worked in perfect sync, anticipating each other's moves with uncanny precision. As the social compatibility test progressed, Logan became aware of the growing tension among the observing Ulian council members. He caught snippets of heated debates, words like genetic purity and evolutionary leap drifting to his ears. The final test was a form of Ulian dance, requiring precise synchronization between partners. Logan's human physiology struggled to match the fluid movements of his Ulian counterparts, but he found himself falling into a natural rhythm with Nara. As they moved together, her skin illuminated with patterns of joy and connection. Exhausted but exhilarated, Logan completed the last of the tests. He stood before Dr. Alara and the Ulian High Council, awaiting their assessment. The atmosphere in the room was electric with anticipation. Dr. Alara stepped forward, her expression a mix of awe and scientific fascination. "Logan Carter of Earth," she began, her voice carrying across the now silent chamber. "Your results are unprecedented in the history of our breeding ritual." She paused, allowing the weight of her words to sink in. "Your genetic makeup shows exceptional compatibility with Ulian DNA, so much so that you have the potential to successfully mate with all 5 of the selected females." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Logan's mind struggled to process the implications of Dr. Alara's words. He looked at the 5 Ulian females, each regarding him with a complex mix of emotions written in their skin patterns. Aura, the head of the Ulian High Council, stepped forward. "Logan, due to these extraordinary circumstances, we must ask something extraordinary of you. Should you choose to continue in the ritual, you will be expected to mate with all 5 females." Logan's breath caught in his throat. The enormity of the situation crashed over him like a tidal wave. He had entered this competition by accident, seeking only to secure help for Earth. Now he stood on the precipice of becoming the progenitor of a new hybrid species. As he grappled with the weight of this responsibility, Logan noticed the shifting dynamics in the room. Young Ulians, led by Nara, watched him with hope and excitement, their skin patterns speaking of dreams of change in progress. Older council members huddled together, their patterns betraying concern and uncertainty. Dr. Alara's voice cut through Logan's tumultuous thoughts. "The next stage will involve more intimate physical assessments with each compatible female. We must determine the full extent of your genetic potential." Logan nodded, his mind racing. As he prepared himself for the next phase of the ritual, he couldn't help but wonder how he had gone from a simple diplomat to the key figure in a potential Ulian societal revolution. The weight of 2 worlds now rested on his shoulders, and the path ahead was fraught with both promise and peril. Peril. As Logan processed the enormity of his situation, Dr. Alara gently guided him towards a series of pristine, crystalline chambers. "These rooms have been specially prepared for the next phase of the ritual," she explained, her multifaceted eyes gleaming with scientific curiosity. "Each chamber is designed to facilitate intimate interactions between you and your potential mates." Logan nodded, his heart racing as he absorbed the implications of her words. Dr. Alara continued, her voice taking on a more serious tone. "While intimacy is expected, Logan, I must emphasize that full mating will not occur at this stage. These assessments will measure physical compatibility, pheromone responses, and potential for successful reproduction." As they approached the first chamber, Logan saw Zara waiting inside, her skin patterns pulsing with a mix of scientific interest and nervous anticipation. Dr. Alara gave him a reassuring nod before closing the door, leaving Logan alone with the renowned Ulian scientist. Zara's clinical approach helped ease Logan's initial tension. She began by examining the differences in their physiologies, her touch precise and methodical. Logan found himself relaxing as they discussed the unique aspects of human and Ulian anatomy. "Fascinating," Zara murmured, her fingers tracing a line along Logan's forearm. Suddenly, her skin flared with patterns of surprise and excitement. "Logan, your touch seems to be triggering unexpected pleasure responses in my nerve clusters. This could have significant implications for interspecies compatibility." Their session continued, a blend of scientific exploration and tentative intimacy. As they concluded, Logan felt a growing sense of wonder at the possibilities unfolding before him. Next, Logan entered a chamber suffused with a soft, pulsating light. Lyria, the skilled diplomat, greeted him with a graceful gesture. "We will now engage in a traditional Ulian bonding practice," she explained, her voice melodious and calming. "It requires synchronization of breathing and gentle physical contact." Logan's diplomatic training kicked in as he mirrored Lyria's posture. They began a slow, rhythmic breathing exercise, their bodies gradually moving closer. As their hands touched, Logan felt a subtle energy flowing between them, a connection that transcended physical contact. The third chamber presented a stark contrast. Vela, the military strategist, stood in a stance that radiated strength and discipline. Without preamble, she launched into an explanation of Ulian martial arts. This form of combat requires close physical proximity, Vela stated, her eyes gleaming with challenge. It will allow us to assess our physical compatibility in a more dynamic setting. What followed was an intense session of grappling and maneuvering. Logan found himself struggling to keep up with Vela's swift movements, their bodies in constant contact. As the exercise reached its peak, Logan noticed a change in the air around them, a surge of pheromones that left both him and Vela momentarily stunned. Breathing heavily, Vela's skin patterns shifted to display respect and intrigue. "Your physical prowess is impressive, Logan of Earth," she admitted, a note of admiration in her voice. The fourth chamber was a riot of color and light. Mira, the celebrated Ulian artist, welcomed Logan with a serene smile. "Today we explore intimacy through art," she explained, gesturing to an array of glowing, bioluminescent paints. Logan and Mira began to create intricate patterns on each other's skin, their touches alternating between delicate brushstrokes and gentle caresses. As the designs grew more complex, Logan felt a deep connection forming between them, transcending the physical and tapping into something profoundly creative and intimate. Finally, Logan entered the chamber where Nara waited. Their eyes met, and the air seemed to crackle with unspoken anticipation. From the moment their hands touched, it was clear that this encounter was different from the others. Every movement, every shared breath seemed perfectly synchronized. As they explored each other's physical forms, Logan felt a deep emotional resonance building between them. Nara's skin patterns danced with joy and excitement, mirroring the emotions Logan felt surging within himself. As their session came to an end, Logan and Nara remained in a close embrace, both reluctant to break the profound connection they had formed. Outside the chambers, Dr. Alara and her team worked feverishly to analyze the data collected during the assessments. As Logan emerged from the final room, he found the medical facility abuzz with excitement. "Logan," Dr. Alara called, her voice filled with hardly restrained enthusiasm. "The results are astounding. Your compatibility levels with all 5 females are unprecedented. The potential for successful mating and reproduction is not just possible. It could lead to significant advancements in Ulian genetics." As the news spread through the Ulian capital, Logan could sense the growing tension. Young Ulians gathered in the streets, their skin patterns displaying hope and excitement for change. In contrast, older Ulians huddled in small groups, their patterns betraying concern and resistance. Amidst the growing tumult, Logan received a communication from Earth's diplomatic corps. Their message was a mix of congratulations and caution, highlighting the potential for a profound alliance between humans and Ulians, while expressing concern about the implications of Logan becoming the progenitor of a new hybrid species. As Logan pondered his next steps, he realized that the final challenges of the ritual would be more than just physical or emotional tests. He now stood at the center of a societal upheaval, his actions poised to reshape the future of both human and Ulian civilizations. With the weight of 2 worlds on his shoulders, Logan prepared himself for the trials ahead, knowing that every decision from this point on would have far-reaching consequences. Consequences. With the weight of 2 worlds on his shoulders, Logan prepared himself for the trials ahead, knowing that every decision from this point on would have far-reaching impact. As Logan emerged from his contemplation, Dr. Alara approached him with a serious expression. "Logan, the Ulian High Council has reached a decision," she said, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. "Your unprecedented success in the compatibility test has led to a unique challenge." Logan listened intently as Dr. Alara explained the council's decree. He would spend 1 full Ulian day, equivalent to 36 Earth hours, with each of the 5 compatible females in their professional environments. This additional trial would test his ability to integrate into Ulian society and provide insight into his potential long-term impact on their culture. The challenge began the following day. Logan found himself in Zara's Advanced Genetics Laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays and pulsating biochambers. As they worked side by side, analyzing the intricate dance of human and alien DNA, Logan marveled at the complexity of their task. "Logan, look at this!" Zara exclaimed, her skin patterns flashing with excitement. She pointed to a holographic projection showing an unusual interaction between human and Ulian genetic markers. Logan leaned in, his eyes widening as he grasped the implications. "Is that what I think it is?" Zara nodded, her voice trembling with barely suppressed enthusiasm. "This could be the key to curing Viridian syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that has plagued our species for generations." Their accidental discovery sent ripples through the Ulian scientific community. As news spread, Logan could feel the shift in atmosphere, a growing sense of acceptance and excitement about the potential benefits of human-alien cooperation. The next day, Logan found himself thrust into the world of interstellar diplomacy alongside Lyria. They attended a summit between Ulians and a newly discovered alien species called the Zthrak. The tension in the room was palpable as delegates cast suspicious glances at Logan. During a particularly heated negotiation over resource-sharing agreements, Logan leaned towards Lyria. "May I offer a suggestion?" he whispered. Lyria nodded, her skin patterns conveying curiosity. Logan stood, addressing the assembly. "Esteemed delegates, perhaps we could consider a rotational system for resource extraction. This would ensure equal access while promoting shared responsibility for environmental stewardship." His words seemed to cut through the tension. The Zethric ambassador's tendrils quivered with interest, while the Ulian delegates exchanged impressed glances. As the negotiations progressed more smoothly, Logan could sense a newfound respect from both Ulian and alien diplomats. The third day brought a stark change of scenery as Logan joined Vela for military training exercises. The Ulian combat simulation chamber pulsed with energy as holographic enemies materialized around them. "Stay close and follow my lead," Vela instructed, her body coiled with tension. As they moved through the simulated battlefield, Logan found his human instincts complementing Vela's Ulian tactics in unexpected ways. Where she relied on calculated precision, Logan's split-second decisions added an element of unpredictability that caught their holographic opponents off guard. "Impressive," Vela admitted as they completed the exercise. "Your human reflexes offer a tactical advantage we hadn't considered." The fourth day saw Logan in Mira's art studio, a space alive with swirling colors and pulsating light sculptures. As they collaborated on a piece, Logan found himself drawn into a world of pure creativity. "Try visualizing your emotions as colors," Mira suggested, guiding Logan's hand across a canvas of bioluminescent material. As they worked, their movements became a dance of artistic expression. The resulting artwork, a mesmerizing blend of human abstraction and Ulian bioluminal patterns, drew gasps of awe from Ulian cultural critics who had gathered to witness the collaboration. On the final day, Logan accompanied Nara to various Ulian communities. They engaged with citizens discussing the potential impacts of human-Ulian integration. Logan was struck by the energy and enthusiasm of the younger Ulians they encountered. "Your presence here has sparked something in our youth," Nara explained, her skin patterns conveying a mix of excitement and hope. "They see you as a symbol of change and progress." As they addressed a gathering of young Ulians, Logan could feel the beginnings of a grassroots movement forming. A call for more open interspecies relations that reverberated through the community. With the challenge concluded, Logan stood before the Ulian High Council once more. The chamber buzzed with anticipation as the council members deliberated, their skin patterns flickering with a mix of emotions. Aura, the head of the council, stepped forward. "Logan Carter of Earth, your performance in this challenge has been nothing short of remarkable. You have demonstrated not only compatibility, but the potential to significantly benefit our society in multiple spheres." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber, but it was quickly overshadowed by a commotion from outside. Through the crystalline walls, Logan could see a gathering crowd, their skin patterns clashing in a visual representation of the societal divide his presence had created. Dr. Ilara approached Logan, her expression grave. "The council has decided to proceed with the final mating ritual," she said quietly. "However, there is something you must know before you make your decision." Logan listened intently as Dr. Ilara explained the irreversible genetic alterations he would undergo during the mating process. The weight of the choice before him, to potentially sacrifice his humanity for the greater good of both species, settled heavily on his shoulders. As he processed this information, a communication from Earth's diplomatic corps flashed on a nearby screen. The message spoke of open negotiations for not only the terraforming technology, but a comprehensive alliance between Earth and Ulia. Logan took a deep breath, his mind racing with the implications of his next actions. He looked at the 5 Ulian females, Zara, Lyria, Vela, Mira, and Nara, each regarding him with a complex mix of emotions. The doors to the sacred mating chamber slid open, revealing an interior bathed in a soft, pulsating light. The 5 Ulian females moved gracefully into the chamber, their skin patterns shifting with anticipation and nervous energy. Outside, the sounds of both celebration and protest grew louder, underscoring the momentous nature of what was about to unfold. Logan stood at the threshold, keenly aware that his next step would irrevocably alter the course of his life and potentially the future of interstellar relations. With a final glance back at Dr. Ilara and the Alian High Council, Logan squared his shoulders and prepared to enter the chamber. The fate of 2 worlds hung in the balance as Logan took a deep breath and stepped into the sacred mating chamber. The doors slid shut behind him with a soft hiss, sealing him inside the vast circular room. His eyes widened as he took in the breathtaking sight before him. Bioluminescent plants lined the walls, their gentle glow pulsing in rhythm with the crystals scattered throughout the chamber. The air was thick with a sweet, intoxicating scent that Logan realized must be Ulian pheromones. At the center of the room stood a raised altar, surrounded by the 5 Ulian females he had come to know over the past days. Zara, Lyria, Vela, Mira, and Nara stood in a perfect circle around the altar, their skin patterns shifting with a mix of anticipation and nervous energy. Logan's gaze met each of theirs in turn, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. High Priestess Aura stepped forward, her ornate robes shimmering in the soft light. "Logan Carter of Earth," she intoned, her voice carrying a weight of ancient authority. "You stand at the precipice of a new era for both our peoples. Are you prepared to proceed with the mating ritual?" Logan nodded, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "I am." Aura raised her arms, and suddenly the air around them crackled with energy. A shimmering field materialized, encasing the group in a translucent dome. "This energy field," Aura explained, "will facilitate the genetic exchange and ensure the safety of all participants." As Logan approached the altar, Aura began to chant in the Ulian language, her words resonating through the chamber. The bioluminescent plants seemed to pulse in response, their light intensifying. Zara was the first to step forward. Her approach was methodical, every movement precise and calculated. As their bodies met, Logan felt a jolt of energy course through him. The plants around them flared brightly, their light almost blinding. "Fascinating," Zara murmured, her scientist's mind clearly at work even in this intimate moment. "The energy output is far beyond my initial projections." As they separated, Logan moved to Lyria. The diplomats' movements were fluid and graceful, reminding Logan of their dance at the reception. Their union was like a choreographed performance, each breath and touch in perfect synchronization. The energy field around them shifted, taking on a soft blue hue that rippled outward. Vela approached next, her military bearing evident in her purposeful stride. Their mating was intense and physical, a stark contrast to the previous encounters. As they joined, holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber, projecting complex genetic models. Logan caught glimpses of hybrid traits being analyzed in real time, the implications of their union laid bare for all to see. Mira's turn brought a sensory experience unlike anything Logan had ever known. As artist and human came together, the crystals in the room began to resonate. Light danced across the walls in intricate patterns, a visual representation of their merging genetic codes. Finally, Logan reached Nara. Their eyes met, and in that moment, the connection they had formed over the past days seemed to deepen exponentially. As they joined, the energy field flared with an intensity that made the previous displays pale in comparison. A harmonic frequency filled the air, vibrating through Logan's very being. As the final echoes of the harmonic frequency faded, the energy field dissipated. Logan found himself at the center of the altar, surrounded by the 5 Ulian females. Each of them wore an expression of wonder and anticipation. Before anyone could speak, the chamber doors burst open. Dr. Alara rushed in, her skin patterns flashing with excitement and urgency. "Logan," she called out, her voice breathless, "the genetic data we've collected during the mating process, it's unprecedented." Logan stepped down from the altar, his legs shaky but his mind clear. "What do you mean, Dr. Alara?" The Ulian scientist's eyes were wide with amazement. "Your human DNA, combined with Ulian genetics, has created a hybrid genome with properties we've never seen before. Early analysis shows potential for enhanced regeneration, improved cognitive abilities, and even increased lifespan." A murmur of excitement rippled through the chamber, but it was quickly overshadowed by a commotion from outside. Through the crystalline walls, Logan could see a gathering crowd, their skin patterns clashing in a visual representation of the societal divide his presence had created. Suddenly, a holographic communication interface materialized in the center of the room. The face of Earth's chief diplomat appeared, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Logan, we've received the preliminary data on the mating ritual's outcomes. This goes beyond anything we could have imagined. You've not only secured the terraforming technology, but opened the door for an unprecedented alliance between our species." As the diplomat continued to speak, Logan became aware of a strange sensation coursing through his body. His senses seemed sharper, his mind clearer. He looked down at his hands, noticing a faint, shimmering pattern just beneath the skin, not unlike the bioluminescent displays of his Ulian companions. The chamber doors opened once again, this time admitting members of the Ulian High Council. Aura stepped forward, her expression grave. "Logan Carter, the implications of what has transpired here today are far-reaching. Our society stands at a crossroads, and you find yourself at the center of it all." Crone, the conservative council member, pushed his way to the front. "This human must be quarantined immediately. We cannot risk the unpredictable nature of this genetic abomination spreading through our population." Nara moved to stand beside Logan, her skin patterns flashing defiantly. "This is not an abomination, Crone. This is the next step in our evolution, a path to a future where our species can thrive together." As arguments erupted around him, Logan closed his eyes, focusing on the new sensations flowing through his body. He knew that whatever came next would change the course of history for both humans and Ulians. The mating ritual was complete, but the true challenges were only just beginning. As Logan processed the gravity of the situation, a strange tingling sensation spread across his skin. He looked down at his arms, noticing a faint shimmering pattern just beneath the surface. The room fell silent as everyone stared at the visible transformation taking place. "Fascinating," Dr. Alara breathed, stepping closer to examine Logan's skin. "The genetic integration is progressing far more rapidly than we anticipated." Logan's senses suddenly sharpened, the world around him coming into hyperfocus. He could hear the rapid heartbeats of everyone in the room, smell the distinct pheromones of each Ulian, and see minute details he'd never noticed before. I feel different," Logan said, his voice barely above a whisper. Before anyone could respond, Crone pushed his way through the crowd, his skin flashing angry patterns. "This abomination must be contained immediately. We cannot risk contamination of our pure Ulian genome." Aura raised her hand, silencing the growing murmurs. "We must approach this situation with caution and wisdom. Logan and the 5 females will be moved to a secure facility for further observation and testing." As if on cue, a group of Ulian security personnel entered the chamber. They surrounded Logan and the 5 females, ushering them towards the exit. As they moved, Logan noticed the curious and fearful stares of the Ulians they passed. The group was transported to a state-of-the-art research facility on the outskirts of the capital city. The building was a marvel of Ulian architecture, its crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent energy. As they entered, Logan couldn't shake the feeling that he was somehow connecting with the very structure itself. Dr. Alara quickly set up a series of tests, her team working tirelessly to understand the extent of the genetic changes. Logan and the 5 females were subjected to endless scans, blood draws, and physical examinations. On the 3rd day of their quarantine, Logan was lying on an examination table when he heard Zara's voice in his mind. "Logan, can you hear me?" He sat bolt upright, startling the alien technician beside him. "Zara," he called out, looking around the room. "I'm in my quarters," Zara's voice replied in his head. "It seems we've developed some form of telepathic link." Over the next few hours, Logan discovered he could communicate mentally with all 5 alien females. Their thoughts and emotions flowed freely between them, creating a shared consciousness that was both exhilarating and overwhelming. As news of Logan's transformation spread beyond the facility walls, unrest began to grow among the alien population. Crone, seizing the opportunity, organized a massive protest outside the research center. Thousands of conservative Ulians gathered, their skin patterns flashing in angry unison as they demanded Logan's expulsion from their world. Inside the facility, Logan and the others watched the growing crowd on a holographic display. "This is getting out of hand," Nara said, her skin patterns conveying her concern. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the building. Alarms blared as security personnel rushed to contain the breach. Through their shared mental link, Logan and the females instantly understood the situation. A group of extremists had detonated a device at the perimeter, attempting to force their way inside. As chaos erupted outside, Aura called an emergency session of the High Council. Her image appeared on a communication screen in the quarantine area. "We must act quickly to prevent further violence," she said, her voice tight with tension. "I am proposing a controlled breeding program to gradually introduce hybrid genetics into our population. It's our best chance at quelling these fears while embracing the potential benefits of this union." While the council debated, Earth's diplomatic corps sprang into action. A delegation led by Admiral Henderson was dispatched to Ulia, their mission to secure Logan's safety and salvage the possibility of an alliance. As the facility's security systems worked to repel the attackers, Logan and the 5 females made a startling discovery. Driven by instinct, Logan placed his hand on a nearby control panel. To everyone's amazement, he was able to interface directly with the alien technology, accessing its systems with mere thoughts. "This is incredible," Lyria gasped as Logan effortlessly navigated through layers of alien data. "The hybridization has unlocked abilities we never thought possible." Dr. Ilara, watching the display in awe, redoubled her efforts to understand the full implications of the genetic changes. Her team worked around the clock, analyzing data and running simulations. Days later, as Admiral Henderson's ship entered alien orbit, Dr. Ilara made a breakthrough. She burst into the room where Logan and the females were gathered, her skin patterns flashing with excitement. "The hybrid genetics," she announced breathlessly, "they've unlocked dormant potential in both human and alien DNA. This could revolutionize medicine, technology, even our approach to space exploration." As the Earth delegation prepared to land, tensions on Ulia reached a boiling point. The High Council convened to vote on Aura's proposal, while Admiral Henderson prepared to navigate the delicate political landscape. Logan and the 5 females, their bond now stronger than ever, stood together at the heart of the storm. They knew that the decisions made in the coming hours would shape the future of both their species. As alarms continued to blare and the facility shook with another explosion, they steeled themselves for whatever challenges lay ahead. As the facility trembled from another explosion, Logan's enhanced senses picked up a surge of activity outside the quarantine zone. He turned to the others, his newly shimmering skin pulsing with an otherworldly glow. "Something's happening," he said, his voice tinged with urgency. "I can feel it." Suddenly, an overwhelming sensation washed over Logan and the 5 Ulian females. Their shared mental link intensified, flooding their minds with a unified purpose. Without a word, they moved in perfect synchronization towards the center of the room. Zara's eyes widened as she realized what was happening. "Logan, we're interfacing with the facility's systems. We can—" Before she could finish, a blinding flash of light engulfed them. When it faded, they found themselves standing in the middle of the Ullian High Council chamber, surrounded by startled representatives from various factions. The council members recoiled in shock, their skin patterns flashing in a cacophony of colors. Krone, the conservative leader, leapt to his feet, his face contorted in a mix of fear and rage. "Guards!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Seize these abominations!" But as the security forces moved to apprehend Logan and his mates, they found themselves unable to approach. An invisible barrier, reminiscent of the energy field from the mating ritual, had formed around the group. Logan stepped forward, his newly enhanced physique drawing gasps from the assembled council. He raised his hand and suddenly, the chamber's holographic systems sprang to life. Complex data streams and genetic models filled the air, displaying information that even the most senior Ullian scientists struggled to comprehend. "Members of the High Council," Logan began, his voice resonating with newfound authority. "We stand before you not as a threat, but as a bridge between our species. What you see here is but a fraction of what we've discovered." As Logan spoke, the holographic displays shifted, revealing classified Ullian data that he accessed with mere thoughts. The council members watched in awe as he effortlessly navigated through layers of protected information, demonstrating the potential benefits of human-Ullian hybridization. Aura, seizing the moment, stood to address her fellow council members. "Esteemed colleagues, we must see this for what it is. An opportunity for growth and advancement beyond our wildest dreams." Before Aura could continue, the chamber doors burst open. Dr. Ilara rushed in, her skin flashing with urgent patterns. "Council members, I bring critical news," she announced breathlessly. "The genetic changes in Logan and the Ullian females are accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Their hybrid DNA is adapting and evolving in real time, granting them abilities that defy our current understanding of genetics and physics." Krone, his face a mask of fury, seized upon this revelation. "You see?" he roared, turning to the council. "These hybrids are an existential threat to our very way of life. We must act now before it's too late." He signaled to the security forces, who once again attempted to approach Logan and the others. But as they neared the invisible barrier, they found themselves gently pushed back, unable to penetrate the field of energy surrounding the group. Admiral Henderson, who had been observing the proceedings from a designated area, stepped forward. "If I may," he said, his voice calm but authoritative, "I believe I have a solution that could benefit all parties involved." The council chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to the human diplomat. Henderson continued, "I propose a joint human-Ullian research initiative to study and harness the potential of hybrid genetics. This program would be conducted under strict oversight from both species, ensuring transparency and mutual benefit." Murmurs of consideration rippled through the chamber. Even Krone, though still visibly agitated, seemed to be weighing the proposal. As the council deliberated, Logan and his mate suddenly stiffened, their eyes glazing over. Through their shared mental link, they experienced a vivid collective vision. Complex genetic structures danced before their mind's eye, revealing patterns and connections that span both human and Ullian DNA. Nara gasped, breaking the trance-like state. "We've seen it," she announced to the chamber. "Our enhanced perception has revealed a hidden compatibility between our species, one that predates our recorded histories. Humans and Ullians may share a common ancestor." This revelation sent shockwaves through the council chamber. Conservative members who had been staunchly opposed to integration now found themselves questioning their stance in light of this new information. Outside the council building, news of the hybrid's appearance spread like wildfire through the capital. Young Ullians, inspired by the potential for change and progress, began to gather in large numbers. Their skin patterns pulsed with hope and excitement as they called for embracing this new chapter in Ullian history. As the crowd outside grew, the pressure on the council to make a decision intensified. Admiral Henderson received an urgent communication from Earth's diplomatic corps, authorizing him to offer full cooperation in studying and developing hybrid technologies. This offer included sharing advanced human medical knowledge in exchange for Ulian terraforming expertise. Just as the Council seemed ready to vote on the future of human-Ulian relations, alarms blared throughout the chamber. A holographic display materialized in the center of the room, showing a fleet of unknown ships approaching Ulia at high speed. Logan and his mates, their abilities growing by the minute, instinctively reached out with their minds. Tapping into Ulian defense systems, they processed vast amounts of data in seconds. "It's a hostile alien race," Logan announced, his voice grave. "They've been observing both our civilizations for years, waiting for the right moment to strike." The chamber erupted in chaos as council members argued about how to respond to this new threat. Crone called for immediate military action, while others urged caution and further analysis. Amidst the confusion, Logan turned to Admiral Henderson and Aura. "The choice before us is clear," he said, his voice cutting through the noise. "We can embrace the potential of our hybridization and face this threat together, or we can remain divided and risk annihilation." As the unknown fleet drew closer to Ulia, the Ulian High Council and Earth's delegation found themselves at a crossroads. The decision they were about to make would not only shape the future of human-Ulian relations, but potentially determine the fate of both species in the face of this new cosmic threat. As the alien fleet loomed closer, the chamber fell silent, the weight of their decision pressing upon them. Aura stood, her skin patterns pulsing with drive. "We cannot face this threat divided," she declared. "The Council will vote immediately on a temporary suspension of all restrictions on Logan and his mates." The vote was swift and nearly unanimous. Even Crone, faced with the prospect of annihilation, grudgingly assented. Admiral Henderson stepped forward. "We propose the formation of a joint task force with Logan and the Ulian females at its core. Their unique abilities may be our best chance against this unknown enemy." Dr. Alara, her eyes shining with excitement despite the dire situation, added, "We'll establish a new research facility immediately to study and enhance their abilities. We have no time to waste." As the council chamber emptied, Logan and his mates found themselves whisked away to a secure underground bunker. The facility hummed with activity as human and Ulian scientists worked side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. Logan stood in the center of a circular room, surrounded by holographic displays showing tactical data from Ulian defense systems. He closed his eyes, reaching out with his mind. Suddenly, the data streams coalesced into a coherent picture in his mind. "I can see them," he gasped, eyes flying open. "The Zarkoth fleet. I can track their movements, predict their trajectories." Zara, working at a nearby console, called out, "Logan, channel that data to me. I think I can use it to improve our weapon systems." Across the room, Lyria sat in deep concentration, her skin flickering with rapid patterns. "I'm connecting with the defense force," she said. "I can sense their emotions, their fears. We can use this to coordinate our efforts more effectively." Vela pored over holographic battle plans, her enhanced cognitive functions allowing her to process multiple scenarios simultaneously. "We need to adjust our defensive perimeter," she announced, manipulating the display with quick gestures. Mira worked feverishly at a large, three-dimensional projection table, her artistic talents translating into stunningly detailed battle simulations. "This will help our forces visualize the coming conflict," she explained, her hands moving in a blur. Nara stood before a wall of screens, her eyes darting from one to another. "I'm tapped into our social networks," she reported. "We can use this to coordinate civilian responses and manage public information." As the hybrid team's abilities grew, so did public support for the Human-Ulian Alliance. Young Ulians flocked to volunteer centers, their skin patterns flashing with a mix of fear and perseverance. Even the most conservative factions begrudgingly acknowledged the necessity of cooperation. Admiral Henderson and Aura worked tirelessly to integrate human and Ulian military forces. In orbit, ships from both species formed a unified defense fleet, their crews learning to work together against the coming threat. Days later, as the Zarkoth fleet entered the outer reaches of the Ulian solar system, A chilling message was broadcast across all frequencies. A harsh, guttural voice filled the airwaves. Humans of Earth, Ulians of Ulia, we are the Zarkoth. We have watched your civilizations for centuries, waiting for this moment. Surrender now or face annihilation. The message sent shockwaves through both populations. In the underground facility, Logan and his mates redoubled their efforts, pushing their hybrid abilities to the limit. As they worked, Logan's mind raced. The connection he shared with Ulian technology sparked an idea. He turned to the others, his skin pulsing with excitement. I think I have a plan, he announced. We can use our abilities to create a network of hybrid-powered defense satellites. Not just a shield, but a weapon against the Zarkoth. Dr. Ilara frowned. The physical strain on your bodies would be immense. We don't know if you could survive it. Logan looked at his mates, sensing their determination through their shared link. It's a risk we have to take, he said firmly. The plan was quickly approved, and a massive engineering effort began. Human and alien technicians worked around the clock, constructing the satellite network while Logan and his mates underwent further genetic enhancements to withstand the physical toll. As the Zarkoth fleet entered firing range, Logan and his 5 Ulian partners were transported to separate orbital stations. Their hybrid physiology allowed them to survive in the vacuum of space with minimal protection, a sight that left both human and alien observers in awe. Logan floated in his orbital pod, surrounded by a cocoon of energy. Through his mental link, he could sense his mates in their own stations, spread out around the planet. As one, they reached out, connecting with a vast network of satellites. Energy coursed through Logan's body as he interfaced with the system. He could feel the immense power at his fingertips. The combined technology of 2 civilizations channeled through his hybrid form. The first wave of Zarkoth ships appeared on the horizon, their weapons charging. Logan took a deep breath, feeling the presence of his mates in his mind. Together, they prepared to activate the defense system that would determine the fate of both their species. As the Zarkoth ships opened fire, Logan's consciousness expanded, merging with the satellite network. He could sense every weapon, every shield, every molecule of energy flowing through the system. With a thought, he directed the power outward, forming a shimmering barrier around the planet. The first volley of Zarkoth weapons struck the shield, sending ripples of energy across its surface. Logan gritted his teeth, feeling the impact as if it were against his own body. Through his mental link, he could sense his mates straining to maintain the barrier. Hold on, he projected to them. We can do this. As the battle raged, Logan and his team worked in perfect synchronization, adjusting the shield's strength and targeting enemy ships with pinpoint accuracy. The hybrid-powered defense system proved more effective than anyone had dared hope, its adaptive nature allowing it to counter each new Zarkoth tactic. But the strain on their bodies was immense. Logan could feel his enhanced physiology struggling to channel the enormous energies coursing through him. He knew his mates were experiencing the same, their shared link filled with a mix of pain and perseverance. The Zarkoth, caught off guard by the unexpected resistance, began to falter. Their formations broke, ships scattering as they tried to regroup. Logan sensed an opportunity. Now, he called out through the mental link. As one, Logan and his mates poured every ounce of their hybrid energy into the satellite network. The shield around Ulia pulsed, then expanded outward in a massive wave of energy. The wave swept through the Zarkoth fleet, overloading their systems and sending ships spinning out of control. Explosions bloomed in the void of space as vessel after vessel succumbed to the hybrid-powered assault. As the wave dissipated, Logan's vision blurred. He could feel his consciousness slipping, the toll of the battle finally catching up to him. Through the haze, he saw the remaining Zarkoth ships turning tail, fleeing from the system they had so confidently invaded. Logan's last thought before darkness claimed him was of his mates, their presence in his mind growing faint. As his pod drifted in orbit, the fate of the hybrid team and the future of human-alien relations hung in the balance. Balance. Logan's eyes fluttered open, his vision blurry and unfocused. He found himself floating in the orbital pod, surrounded by the vast emptiness of space. The battle was a long way to go. As his senses returned, Logan felt the familiar presence of his mates through their mental link. Their connection, though strained, remained intact. He could sense their purpose and the shared knowledge that their fight had only just begun. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the pod as the Zarkoth fleet entered Ulia's orbit. Logan's hybrid physiology kicked into high gear, his body adapting to the immense stress it had endured. He reached out with his mind, interfacing with the satellite network once more. "Everyone ready?" he projected to his mates. Their affirmative responses echoed in his mind as they synchronized their efforts. With a collective mental push, Logan and his 5 Ulian partners activated the planetary defense network. Energy surged through their bodies, channeling into the satellites. A shimmering, translucent shield materialized around Ulia, enveloping the entire planet in a protective cocoon. The Zarkoth ships, their hulls gleaming menacingly in the starlight, launched their first volley. Energy beams and projectiles streaked across space, impacting the shield with tremendous force. The barrier rippled and flared, but held firm against the onslaught. Logan gritted his teeth, feeling each impact reverberate through his body. His mind raced, processing vast amounts of tactical data flowing through the defense network. Patterns emerged in the chaos, revealing weaknesses in the Zarkoth formation. "I've identified vulnerable points in their fleet," Logan communicated to the unified human-Ulian defense force. "Transmitting coordinates now." As allied ships moved to exploit these weaknesses, Zara's voice echoed in Logan's mind. "Logan, I'm recalibrating the shield. We can use it offensively." Logan watched in awe as the shield pulsed with new energy. Targeted beams lanced out, striking Zarkoth ships with precision. The enemy vessels shuddered, their propulsion systems faltering under the assault. The battle intensified, and Logan felt the strain on his body increasing. His skin flickered erratically, bioluminescent patterns pulsing with the ebb and flow of the conflict. Through the mental link, he sensed similar stress in his mates. A voice crackled through the communication system. "Logan, this is Dr. Alara. Your vital signs are reaching critical levels. You need to find a way to stabilize your connection to the network." Before Logan could respond, Vela's urgent thoughts cut through the link. "Incoming! The Zarkoth are changing tactics." Logan's enhanced vision picked out smaller, faster ships breaking away from the main Zarkoth fleet. These vessels darted across the shield's surface, probing for weaknesses. "They're looking for a way through," Vela explained, her military experience evident in her analysis. "I'm coordinating our forces to intercept." As Logan watched the defense force move to counter this new threat, he became aware of Nara's presence in the link. Her thoughts were a whirlwind of activity, coordinating efforts on the planet's surface. "Civilian response teams are in place," Nara reported. "Emergency resources are being distributed efficiently. The military can focus entirely on the space battle." The conflict reached a fever pitch, with both sides locked in a deadly dance of attack and counterattack. Logan's concentration wavered, the immense strain of maintaining the shield taking its toll. Suddenly, Lyria's thoughts cut through the chaos. "Logan, I'm detecting something unusual in the Zarkoth communications. There's discord in their ranks." Logan focused his attention on the data Lyria was sharing. Sure enough, subtle variations in the enemy's communication patterns suggested internal conflict within the Zarkoth fleet. "Admiral Henderson," Lyria called out through the communication system, "I believe we can exploit this division. With your permission, I'd like to craft a message that could sow further confusion among their forces." As Lyria and the Admiral worked on this new strategy, Logan's attention was drawn to a group of Zarkoth ships breaking formation. These vessels angled towards Ulia's surface, clearly intent on landing. "Mira," Logan projected urgently, "can you mask our cities?" "Already on it," came Mira's reply. Logan watched in amazement as complex, three-dimensional, holographic illusions sprang to life, obscuring the locations of key Ulian population centers. The Zarkoth landing parties, now visibly disoriented, became easy targets for ground-based defenses. Despite these successes, Logan felt his grip on the satellite network weakening. The shield flickered ominously, drawing a renewed assault from the Zarkoth fleet. "Logan," Dr. Alara's voice came through again, tinged with worry. "We're seeing severe fluctuations in the shield. Your connection is becoming unstable. As if to punctuate her words, the Zarkoth launched a massive, concentrated attack on a single point of the shield. Logan cried out, pouring every ounce of his strength into reinforcing the targeted area. "Dr. Alara," he gasped, his vision blurring. "I don't know how much longer I can hold this." "Hold on, Logan," Dr. Alara replied, her voice tense but determined. "We're implementing an experimental procedure. It's risky, but it might be our only chance." Logan felt a sudden surge of energy course through his body. His hybrid physiology began to change, evolving rapidly in response to the extreme stress. The pain was intense, but as the transformation took hold, Logan felt his connection to the defense network strengthen. With renewed vigor, Logan channeled more power into the shield. The barrier held firm against the Zarkoth onslaught, its energy pulsing with newfound strength. As the human Ullian fleet seized this opportunity to launch a counteroffensive, Logan made a startling discovery. His enhanced connection to the defense network allowed him to detect faint, familiar signals emanating from within the Zarkoth fleet. "These patterns," he murmured, his mind racing, "they match the hidden genetic sequences we found before. How is that possible?" As Logan grappled with this unexpected revelation, the battle for Ulia's survival raged on. The true nature of the connection between humans, Ullians, and the Zarkoth remained a mystery, one that could hold the key to ending the conflict. But for now, the immediate threat demanded Logan's full attention, as the relentless Zarkoth assault continued unabated. As Logan grappled with the implications of the familiar genetic patterns within the Zarkoth fleet, a surge of inspiration struck him. His enhanced hybrid physiology, pushed to its limits by the battle, seemed to unlock new potential within his mind. "Everyone, I have an idea," Logan projected through the mental link to his mates. "It's risky, but it might end this conflict." Without waiting for a response, Logan reached out with his consciousness, pushing beyond the boundaries of the planetary defense network. His mind stretched across the void of space, seeking the command ship of the Zarkoth fleet. The strain was immense. Logan's body convulsed in the orbital pod, his skin flickering with intense bioluminescent patterns. Through gritted teeth, he pushed harder, feeling his consciousness brush against the alien minds aboard the Zarkoth vessel. "Logan, what are you doing?" Dr. Alara's voice crackled through the communication system, filled with concern. "Making contact," Logan managed to respond, his voice strained. Suddenly, his mind breached the final barrier. Logan found himself immersed in a sea of Zarkoth thoughts and memories. The sheer volume of information threatened to overwhelm him, but his hybrid physiology adapted, processing the data at an incredible speed. As Logan sifted through the Zarkoth databases, he uncovered startling truths. Historical records, genetic data, and ancient legends all pointed to a shared origin. Humans, Ullians, and Zarkoth were not just compatible. They were distant relatives. "It's true," Logan projected to his mates and the human Ullian command. "We're all descendants of a precursor race. They seeded multiple planets with modified versions of themselves." The revelation sent shock waves through both fleets. The battle slowed as ships on both sides hesitated, crews grappling with the implications of this newfound kinship. Seizing the moment, Logan and his Ullian mates combined their abilities. Drawing on the full power of the planetary defense network, they projected a massive holographic display visible to all combatants. The image showed a timeline of divergent evolution, highlighting the shared genetic markers between the three species. The effect was immediate. Many Zarkoth ships powered down their weapons, their crews too stunned to continue fighting. Others maintained their aggressive stance, but a visible rift had formed in their once unified fleet. "Now's our chance," Admiral Henderson's voice came through the comm system. "Dr. Alara, is that bioweapon ready?" "Yes, Admiral," Dr. Alara replied. "It's keyed to the shared genetic markers. It will cause temporary paralysis in Zarkoth physiology without harming humans or Ullians." "Logan, can you and your team deploy it through the defense network?" the Admiral asked. Logan felt the strain of maintaining the neural link with the Zarkoth ship, but he nodded. "We're on it, Admiral." Working in perfect synchronization, Logan and his mates channeled the bioweapon through the satellite network. The agent dispersed throughout the Zarkoth fleet, carried on waves of energy that bypassed shields and hull plating. Within minutes, the majority of the Zarkoth forces were incapacitated. Ships drifted powerless, their crews unable to maintain control. The few vessels that remained operational quickly surrendered, faced with overwhelming odds. As the immediate threat subsided, Logan became aware of a commotion within the Zarkoth fleet. A significant portion of the alien forces, now aware of their shared heritage, were requesting asylum. "Admiral," Logan called out, his voice weak from exertion. "We have a situation. Many Zarkoth are asking to defect." Before the Admiral could respond, Logan felt a sudden, intense change within his body. The strain of the battle had pushed his hybrid physiology to its limits, triggering rapid genetic changes. He could sense similar transformations occurring in his alien mates. "Dr. Alara," Logan gasped, his vision blurring. "Something's happening to us." "I see it, Logan," Dr. Alara replied, her voice tense. "Your genetic structure is evolving at an accelerated rate. We need to get you all to a medical facility immediately." As Logan fought to maintain consciousness, he became aware of a faint signal pulsing at the edge of his perception. It was coming from deep space, far beyond the confines of the Ullian system. With the last of his strength, Logan focused on the signal. Its pattern matched the shared genetic code of humans, Ullians, and Zarkoth. As the realization hit him, Logan's world faded to black. He awoke to the steady beep of medical equipment. The stark white ceiling of an Ullian medical bay came into focus as Logan blinked away the disorientation. "Welcome back," Dr. Alara's familiar voice greeted him. "You've been unconscious for 3 days." Logan tried to sit up, but his body felt strange. Stronger, yet somehow different. "What happened?" "The battle. The Zarkoth." Dr. Alara placed a hand on his shoulder, gently keeping him in place. "The conflict is over for now, but we have a lot to discuss. Your actions have changed everything, Logan. The galaxy as we know it will never be the same." As Logan processed this information, his mind drifted to the mysterious signal from deep space. He knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure, one that would challenge the very foundations of what it meant to be human, Ullian or Zarkoth. Zarkoth. As Logan processed this information, his mind drifted to the mysterious signal from deep space. He knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure, one that would challenge the very foundations of what it meant to be human, Ullian or Zarkoth. "Logan," Dr. Alara said, her voice pulling him back to the present, "there's something you need to know. Your actions during the battle have set in motion a series of events that are reshaping our societies." She helped Logan sit up, and he noticed the changes in his body. His skin seemed to shimmer with a faint, iridescent quality, and he felt an unprecedented strength coursing through his muscles. "What's happening to me?" Logan asked, flexing his fingers experimentally. "Your hybrid physiology is stabilizing," Dr. Alara explained, gesturing to a holographic display of his genetic structure. "The stress of the battle triggered rapid evolution in you and your mates. We've been working around the clock to develop treatments to help you control these new abilities." As if on cue, Logan's 5 Ullian mates entered the medical bay. Zara, Lyria, Vela, Mira, and Nara moved with a newfound grace, their bodies showing similar changes to Logan's. Zara approached Logan's bed, her eyes shimmering with excitement. "We've been appointed as hybrid ambassadors," she said, taking his hand. "The Ullian High Council, Earth's diplomatic corps, and the cooperative Zarkoth factions have formed a tri-species integration committee. We're at the forefront of uniting our civilizations." Logan's mind reeled with the implications. How are people reacting to all this? Nara stepped forward, her empathic abilities allowing her to sense the emotional climate. "It's a mix of excitement and apprehension," she said. "On Ulia, we're dealing with an influx of Zarkoth refugees. I've been developing an integration program to help smooth the transition." "And on Earth?" Logan asked. "Similar situation," Vela chimed in. "Admiral Henderson has proposed a tri-species defense force. He wants me to help develop the operational protocols." Dr. Alara cleared her throat, drawing their attention. "Before you dive into your new roles, we need to complete your treatments. Your abilities are still unstable, and we need to ensure you can control them safely. Over the next few weeks, Logan and his mates underwent a series of genetic modifications and training sessions. They learned to harness their enhanced regeneration, adapt to various environments, and communicate telepathically with unprecedented clarity. As they recovered, the TSIC initiated a large-scale genetic screening program across all three species. Logan watched the holographic news feeds from his medical bay, seeing long lines of humans, Ulians, and cooperative Zarkoth individuals waiting for their turn to be tested. "The screening has revealed something fascinating," Lyria said one evening, her eyes gleaming with scientific curiosity. "A small percentage of each population possesses dormant genes that could lead to abilities similar to ours when activated." "This changes everything," Logan mused. "The potential for integration goes beyond what we initially thought." As soon as they were cleared for duty, Logan and his mates were thrust into their roles as hybrid ambassadors. Their first major assignment was overseeing the development of 3 joint colonies on neutral planets within the Ullian solar system. Logan stood on the observation deck of a transport ship, watching as the first colony came into view. The planet's surface was a mosaic of construction sites, with humans, Ulians, and Zarkoth working side by side to build their shared future. "It's beautiful," Mira said, joining him at the window. Her artistic eyes saw beyond the chaos of construction to the potential of what was being created. As they disembarked, Logan was acutely aware of the eyes on them. Humans, Ulians, and Zarkoth alike stared in awe at the hybrid ambassadors, their shimmering skin and graceful movements a living symbol of what was possible. A dispute broke out near one of the construction sites, with raised voices in 3 different languages filling the air. Logan and his mates exchanged glances before moving to intervene. Using their enhanced empathic abilities and telepathic communication, they quickly got to the root of the conflict, a misunderstanding about resource allocation that had been exacerbated by cultural differences. Logan watched with pride as Nara took the lead, her voice calm and reassuring as she addressed the group. "We are all learning to work together," she said, her words echoing in the minds of all present thanks to her telepathic abilities. "These challenges are opportunities for us to grow and understand each other better." As the tension dissipated and the workers returned to their tasks with renewed understanding, Logan felt a surge of hope. The road ahead would be challenging, but moments like these proved that their shared future was worth fighting for. Later that evening, as Logan and his mates gathered in their shared quarters to discuss the day's events, a priority communication came through from Dr. Alara. "We've made a breakthrough with the signal you detected, Logan," she said, her holographic image flickering with excitement. "We've managed to narrow down its origin to a specific sector of deep space. The joint research team is preparing an expedition to investigate." As Logan processed this information, he felt a familiar tingling sensation at the base of his skull. Judging by the looks on his mates' faces, they felt it too. Suddenly their vision blurred, and they found themselves immersed in a shared hallucination. They saw flashes of an ancient sprawling civilization, towering crystal spires, ships that seemed to bend space itself, and beings of pure energy. As quickly as it came, the vision faded, leaving them breathless and wide-eyed. "Did you see that?" Zara gasped, her voice filled with wonder. Logan nodded, his mind racing with the implications. "I think we just got a glimpse of our precursor race," he said, "and something tells me this is just the beginning of what we're going to discover." As they prepared to report their shared vision to the TSI, Logan couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of uncovering secrets that would reshape their understanding of the universe. The signal from deep space beckoned, promising answers to questions they hadn't even thought to ask yet. The revelation of the precursor race's signal and the shared vision left Logan and his mates eager to uncover more about their origins. However, their duties as hybrid ambassadors took precedence. The Tri-Species Integration Committee assigned them a crucial diplomatic mission to the largest remaining Zarkoth colony world. As they prepared for departure, Dr. Alara briefed them on their new vessel. "This ship is a marvel of cooperation," she explained, leading them through the sleek corridors. "It combines the best of human, Ulian, and Zarkoth technologies. You'll be the first to pilot it on a long-range mission." Logan ran his hand along the ship's smooth interior, feeling the subtle vibrations of its advanced propulsion system. "It's incredible," he murmured, his enhanced senses picking up on the intricate interplay of technologies. The team boarded their vessel, each taking their designated stations. Logan settled into the captain's chair while Zara took her place at the science station. Vela manned tactical, Lyria monitored communications, Mira handled navigation, and Nara focused on the ship's environmental systems. As they broke free of Ulia's atmosphere, the ship responded to their hybrid physiology, its systems interfacing seamlessly with their enhanced abilities. They quickly left the familiar confines of the Ulian system behind, venturing into the vast expanse between Allied space and Zarkoth territory. Several days into their journey, as they navigated a dense asteroid field, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Vela's hands flew over her console. "We've got a problem," she announced, her voice tense. "The propulsion system is experiencing a critical malfunction." Logan felt the ship lurch beneath him. "Mira, what's our status?" Mira's fingers danced across her navigation panel. "We're losing speed and maneuverability. There's an M-class planet in a nearby system. Designation X-117. It's our best chance for an emergency landing." "Take us in," Logan ordered, his mind already racing through potential scenarios. The ship shuddered as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Logan and his mates worked in perfect synchronization, their telepathic bond allowing them to coordinate without speaking. Despite their efforts, the landing was rough. The vessel skidded across a vast plain before coming to a stop at the edge of a dense forest. As the dust settled, Logan activated the ship's external sensors. "Life support is stable," he reported. "Atmosphere is breathable. No signs of advanced civilization detected." Zara examined the readouts from her science station. "I'm picking up unusual energy readings from beneath the surface," she said, her brow furrowed in concentration. "And Logan, you might want to take a look at this." Logan joined her, his eyes widening as he saw the data. "These readings, they're similar to our genetic markers. How is that possible?" "We should investigate," Lyria suggested. "It could be related to the precursor race." The team donned their environmental suits and exited the ship. The planet's twin suns bathed the landscape in a warm golden light. Lush vegetation surrounded them, unlike anything they had seen on Earth or Ulia. Logan knelt, placing his hand on the ground. His enhanced senses detected subtle vibrations and energy patterns coursing through the soil. "The entire planet feels alive," he murmured. As they began gathering materials for repairs, Nara suddenly froze. "Do you feel that?" she asked, her empathic abilities on high alert. Before anyone could respond, the ground beneath their feet trembled. A section of Earth nearby slid away, revealing a hidden entrance to an underground complex. "It reacted to our presence," Zara breathed, her scientific curiosity piqued. Vela approached the entrance cautiously, her tactical training evident in her movements. "The architecture, it's similar to what we saw in our vision." Logan studied the entrance, feeling a pull towards the unknown depths. "We need to investigate," he decided. "This could be the key to understanding our shared heritage, and maybe even repairing our ship." With a shared look of tenacity, Logan and his mates activated their suit lights and stepped into the darkness of the ancient complex. As they descended, bioluminescent patterns on the walls flickered to life, responding to their presence. The team moved deeper into the facility, their enhanced senses on high alert. Suddenly, a series of clicks and whirs echoed through the corridor. Panels slid open, revealing dormant biomechanical constructs. "It's a security system," Zara realized, quickly scanning the devices with her suit's sensors. "It's reactivating after millennia of dormancy." The constructs came to life, their glowing eyes focused on the hybrid team. Logan felt a tingling sensation as the machines scanned them, probing their unique genetic signatures. "They're not attacking," Vela observed, her hand hovering near her weapon. "It's almost like they're recognizing us." Zara stepped forward, her scientific expertise allowing her to interpret the ancient technology. "The security protocols are key to specific genetic markers," she explained. "Our hybrid DNA is allowing us to pass through." As they progressed deeper into the complex, they encountered more advanced systems. Vela's tactical skills proved invaluable, helping them navigate around potential traps and defensive mechanisms. Finally, they reached a vast chamber that took their breath away. Towering data crystals pulsed with soft light, surrounding a central console that hummed with latent energy. "This must be the data repository," Lyria whispered, her voice filled with awe. Logan approached the console, feeling a strange resonance with the alien technology. As he placed his hand on the interface, his hybrid physiology activated the system. Streams of data flooded his mind, downloaded directly into his consciousness. His mates gathered around him, lending their support as he processed the vast influx of information. Images and concepts flashed through their shared mental link: the history of the precursor race, their grand experiments in evolution, and the creation of humans, Ulians and Zarkoth, as distinct branches of their legacy. As the data transfer completed, Logan gasped, staggering back from the console. "We were right," he said, his voice hoarse. "This planet was a research outpost. They were trying to create offspring that could survive anywhere in the galaxy. We're the result of those experiments." Before they could fully process this revelation, the chamber hummed with new energy. Beams of light enveloped the hybrid team, triggering a dormant genetic protocol. Pain lanced through their bodies as their DNA began to rapidly reconfigure. They clung to each other, their telepathic bond a lifeline as waves of agony washed over them. Bones shifted, muscles reformed, and their very cells pulsed with new potential. As the transformation subsided, Logan and his mates stood changed. Their bodies shimmered with barely suppressed energy, and their minds buzzed with newfound abilities. Zara flexed her hand, watching as arcs of energy danced between her fingers. "The protocol activated latent genetic potential," she said, her voice filled with wonder and a hint of fear. Logan was about to respond when a new sensation washed over him. His enhanced perception detected multiple ships entering the system, the TSIC search party and, more worryingly, a contingent of Zarkoth vessels. "We've got company," he announced, his mind racing with the implications. "And not all of it friendly." As alarms blared throughout the ancient facility, Logan and his team faced a crucial decision. The fate of 3 species and the legacy of their precursors hung in the balance, with the answers buried deep beneath the surface of this uncharted world. Planet. Logan's enhanced senses buzzed with urgency as he processed the complex situation unfolding around them. "We need to move now," he said, his voice low and intense. "Multiple ships entering the atmosphere. TSIC and Zarkoth purists." Zara's eyes widened. If they find this facility, it could spark an interstellar incident. Logan nodded, his mind racing. "We can't let that happen. Zara, I need you to create a holographic camouflage field around the complex. Make it invisible to incoming scanners." As Zara began manipulating energy fields with her newfound abilities, Logan turned to Vela. "Set up non-lethal defense perimeters around the entrance. We need to buy time." Vela's hands glowed with almost unchecked power as she worked, creating intricate energy barriers that hummed with potential. "Lyria, reach out with your empathic abilities. Get a read on the Zarkoth ship's intentions," Logan instructed. Lyria closed her eyes, her consciousness extending beyond the planet's atmosphere. "The purists are determined," she reported. "They're here to secure whatever caused our distress signal. They don't know about the TSIC presence yet." As the team worked, the ground trembled with the impact of landing ships. Logan established a telepathic link with Admiral Henderson, leader of the TSIC search party. "Admiral, this is Logan. We've uncovered a precursor facility with critical data about our shared origins. We need to secure it before the Zarkoth purists find it." Henderson's reply came swiftly. "Understood. We're moving to your position. What's your plan?" Before Logan could respond, Vela's voice cut through their concentration. "Zarkoth ground troops deployed. They're advancing on our position." Logan watched as the purist soldiers triggered Vela's defenses, energy fields flickering to life and incapacitating the first wave without causing permanent harm. "Mira," Logan called, "we need a diversion. Something big." Mira nodded, her artist's imagination melding with her new abilities. She raised her hands, and the sky above the planet erupted into a breathtaking display. Massive holograms filled the air, depicting the intertwined histories of humans, Ulians, and Zarkoth. The images shifted and flowed, showcasing their common ancestry and the potential of their combined strengths. The advancing Purist forces halted, transfixed by the unexpected spectacle. Logan seized the moment. "Admiral, bring your team to these coordinates. We're going in to secure the data." Logan led Henderson and key TSIC representatives into the facility. They raced through the bioluminescent corridors, the ancient technology humming to life around them. "Download everything," Logan ordered as they reached the central chamber. "We can't risk losing this information." As data streamed onto their devices, Nara's voice echoed in Logan's mind. "The purists are regrouping. Their emotions are a mix of confusion and tenacity. I'm trying to amplify their doubts, but I don't know how long it will hold." Logan acknowledged her efforts, feeling the strain of coordinating their defense through his telepathic links. Suddenly, a new sensation prickled at the edge of his awareness. "They're scanning from orbit," he realized. "Zara, the camouflage—" "I'm trying to maintain it," Zara's strained voice replied. "But their sensors are powerful. The field is degrading." Logan made a split-second decision. He approached the facility's central console, placing his hands on the interface. Energy surged through him as he connected directly with the ancient systems. "Everyone, brace yourself," he warned. "I'm initiating an electromagnetic pulse. It should disable all electronics temporarily." With a thought, Logan triggered the overload. A wave of energy pulsed outward, racing through the facility and across the planet's surface. The lights flickered and died, plunging them into momentary darkness before emergency systems kicked in. "Move!" Logan shouted. "Back to the ships, now!" They sprinted through the darkened corridors, emerging onto the planet's surface. The massive holographic display had vanished, leaving only the twin suns illuminating the chaos of disabled ships and confused soldiers. As they reached their hybrid vessel, Logan established a final telepathic link with Commander Vex of the Zarkoth Purists. He transmitted a carefully selected fragment of the precursor data, just enough to hint at the truth of their shared heritage. The hybrid ship's systems came to life, unaffected by the electromagnetic pulse. As they prepared for emergency takeoff, Logan sensed a shift in the Purist commander's emotions: shock, disbelief, and a flicker of curiosity. The vessel shot into the sky, breaking through the planet's atmosphere. As they accelerated away from X-117, multiple ships appeared on their long-range scanners. Reinforcements from Earth, Ulia, and the cooperative Zarkoth factions. Logan exchanged glances with his mates, each of them aware of the weight of their discovery and the potential consequences of their actions. "Set course for TSIC headquarters," Logan ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. "We need to deliver this data before the Purists regroup." As the stars streaked past their viewports, Logan knew that the revelation of their shared ancestry could either unite the three species or plunge them into an even greater conflict. The race to shape the future of galactic relations had begun, with Logan and his hybrid team carrying the key to its outcome. As they accelerated away from X-117, Logan's enhanced senses detected a new threat emerging behind them. "We've got company," he announced, his fingers flying over the control panel. "A small fleet of Zarkoth Purist ships. They must have recovered from the EMP faster than we anticipated." Vela's eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. "Their ships are gaining on us. We can't outrun them for long." Logan's mind raced, considering their options. "We need a place to regroup and plan our next move. Zara, scan for any nearby stations or outposts." After a tense moment, Zara's voice cut through the silence. "I found something. Nueva Esperanza, a joint human-alien space station. It's our best chance for refuge." "Set a course," Logan ordered. "We'll have to risk it." The hybrid vessel banked sharply, its engines straining as they pushed towards their newfound sanctuary. As they approached Nueva Esperanza, its massive form growing larger in their view screen, Logan opened a communication channel. "Nueva Esperanza, this is Logan of the TSI. We request emergency docking. We're being pursued by hostile forces." A gruff voice responded, tinged with suspicion. "Identify yourselves and state the nature of your emergency." Logan exchanged glances with his mates before replying. "We're a hybrid team carrying vital information that could affect the future of human, Ulian, and Zarkoth relations. We need immediate assistance and protection." After a pause that felt like an eternity, the voice returned. Proceed to Docking Bay 4. Security teams will meet you there. As their ship settled into the docking bay, Logan and his team were met by a contingent of armed guards, led by a stern-faced human. I'm Captain Marcus Reeves, commander of this station. You have some explaining to do. Logan stepped forward, his hybrid physiology evident. Captain, I understand your caution, but we don't have much time. He extended his hand, offering a telepathic link. If you'll allow me, I can show you what's at stake. Reeves hesitated, then nodded. As Logan shared a condensed version of recent events, the captain's eyes widened. By the star, he breathed. This changes everything. Springing into action, Reeves began issuing orders. Get their ship to engineering for upgrades. I want our best people working on enhancing its defenses and speed. As Zara and Mira followed a team of engineers, Logan turned to the captain. We need to secure the data we've collected. It's too valuable to risk losing. Reeves nodded grimly. Follow me to the command center. We'll set up a secure transmission to distribute the information. As they worked to encrypt and transmit the precursor data, Vela's voice cut through their concentration. Logan, you need to see this. On the main view screen, a massive fleet of Zarkoth purist ships appeared at the edge of the system. Vela's voice was tense as she reported. At their current speed, they'll reach us in 6 hours. Reeves immediately activated the station's emergency protocols. Alarms blared as his voice echoed through the facility. Attention all personnel. This is not a drill. Initiate emergency evacuation procedures for all non-essential staff. As chaos threatened to engulf the station, Nara stepped forward. Her eyes glowed with empathic energy as she reached out to calm the panicked minds around them. Under her influence, the evacuation proceeded with unexpected efficiency. Logan turned to Reeves. Captain, we can't let the purists capture this station or the data we carry. We need a plan. As they debated their options, Zara burst into the command center, her eyes wide with excitement. Logan, I've made a discovery in the precursor data. There's a network of ancient jump gates hidden throughout the galaxy, and one of them is nearby, in an asteroid field not far from here. Reeves leaned forward, hope kindling in his eyes. If we can activate that gate, we might have a chance to escape and spread the information faster than the purists can stop us. Logan nodded, his mind already formulating a plan. We'll need a diversion to keep the purist fleet occupied while we make for the gate. Nueva Esperanza can provide that diversion, Reeves said grimly. We'll hold them off as long as we can. As they prepared to depart, a young woman with a determined set to her jaw approached them. Lieutenant Kira Henderson, sir. Admiral Henderson's daughter. I've been assigned to lead your security detail. Logan acknowledged her with a nod, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. As they made final preparations, an unexpected transmission crackled through the command center. Attention hybrid team, this is the hybrid vanguard. We've been waiting for this moment for centuries. Rendezvous with us at the jump gate coordinates. We're here to help. With no time to verify the transmission, Logan made a snap decision. We'll take all the help we can get. Let's move out. As they boarded their upgraded vessel, Logan shared a moment of silent communication with his alien mates. Their bond, stronger than ever, would be put to the ultimate test in the coming hours. The hybrid ship shot out of Nueva Esperanza's docking bay, streaking towards the asteroid field. Behind them, the space station's defenses flared to life, preparing to face the incoming purist fleet. Logan's hands tightened on the controls as they entered the treacherous field of space debris. Hold on, he warned. This is going to be a rough ride. As they navigated the dangerous maze of asteroids, the coordinates of the ancient jump gate grew closer on their sensors. The fate of 3 species hung in the balance, with only Logan and his team standing between unity and chaos. Chaos and destruction. The hybrid ship hurtled through the asteroid field, narrowly avoiding collisions as Logan expertly maneuvered through the treacherous maze. Zara's voice cut through the tension. The gate coordinates are just ahead. As they cleared the last of the asteroids, a massive structure came into view. The ancient jump gate loomed before them, its design unlike anything they had encountered before. Intricate patterns etched into its surface pulsed with a soft blue light, growing brighter as they approached. Initiating jump sequence, Logan announced, his hands dancing across the control panel. The ship's engines hummed with increasing intensity as they aligned with the gate's entry point. Suddenly, the space around them warped and twisted. A blinding flash of light engulfed the ship, and for a moment, all sense of direction vanished. The team felt a disorienting lurch as they were catapulted through space at impossible speeds. When the light faded and their vision cleared, a familiar blue-green world filled their view screen. Ulia, in all its splendor, hung before them. "We made it," Vela breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. Before they could fully process their successful jump, a transmission crackled through their comms. "Hybrid vessel, this is Ulian High Command. You are directed to land at the secure facility in Sector 7 Alpha. Transmitting coordinates now." As they began their descent, Logan and his team observed the planet's surface. Signs of heightened activity were evident everywhere. Defense systems powering up, ships scrambling, and energy shields flickering to life over major cities. "Looks like word travels fast," Mira commented, her artist's eye taking in the details of their changed homeworld. The ship touched down on a landing pad at the edge of a sprawling complex. As the engines powered down, Logan saw a delegation approaching. At its head were two familiar faces, Aura, the High Priestess, and Dr. Alara. As they disembarked, Logan felt a wave of emotion wash over him. The gravity of their mission, the weight of the information they carried, and the joy of returning home all mingled together. Aura stepped forward, her eyes shining with a mix of pride and concern. "Logan, my children," she said, including all of the hybrid team in her gaze, "you have done well, but I fear your trials are a long way to go." Dr. Alara, barely containing her excitement, interjected, "The data you've brought back, it's revolutionary. We've already begun analyzing it, focusing on the hybrid physiology sections. The potential implications are staggering." Before they could delve deeper into discussion, a medical team approached. "We need to conduct thorough examinations," one of the doctors explained. "Your exposure to the precursor facility may have had unforeseen effects." As Logan and his mates underwent their examinations, news arrived of the Zarkoth Purist fleet's advance towards Ulian space. The atmosphere in the facility grew tense, the urgency of their situation becoming increasingly apparent. Once cleared by the medical team, Logan and his group were ushered into a large chamber where the Ulian High Council had convened an emergency session. The room buzzed with nervous energy as counselors debated strategy and pored over the latest intelligence reports. One of the counselors turned to Logan. "We need your insights. Your unique experiences with both the precursor technology and the Zarkoth give you a perspective no one else has." Logan stepped forward, his hybrid physiology now more evident than ever. He began to share their findings, detailing the ancient facility and the potential it held for uniting their species. As he spoke, he could see the mix of hope and fear in the eyes of the council members. Zara and Vela were quickly pulled into discussions with Ulian engineers, their knowledge of the precursor systems proving invaluable in upgrading the planet's defenses. Meanwhile, Lyria and Nara focused their enhanced empathic abilities on diplomatic efforts, reaching out to cooperative Zarkoth factions. As the preparations intensified, Logan received an urgent transmission from Admiral Henderson. The Admiral's face appeared on a nearby screen, his expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Logan, we've partially decoded the precursor data," Henderson reported. "There's a network of dormant hybridization facilities throughout the galaxy. If we can activate them, it could change everything." The Ulian High Council fell silent, the implications of this revelation sinking in. After a moment of tense deliberation, a decision was made. They would activate one of these facilities on a nearby uninhabited planet in the Ulian system. Logan and his team volunteered to lead the mission. As they prepared to depart, they were joined by a group of volunteers ready to undergo the hybridization process, including Lieutenant Kira Henderson. As they boarded their ship, now enhanced with precursor technology, long-range sensors detected the approaching Zarkoth Purist fleet. The combined forces of Ulia, Earth, and their allies began to mobilize, forming a defensive perimeter around the planet and the hybridization facility. Logan took one last look at Ulia as they lifted off, the weight of their mission heavy on his shoulders. As they set course for the uninhabited planet, he couldn't help but feel that they were on the cusp of something monumental. a turning point that would shape the future of not just their species, but the entire galaxy. The hybrid vessel streaked through space, leaving the gathering fleets behind. Ahead lay an uncertain future and an ancient facility that held the key to uniting three long-separated branches of the same cosmic family tree. As they approached their destination, Logan steeled himself for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that the next few hours would test them like never before. As they approached their destination, Logan steeled himself for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that the next few hours would test them like never before. The ship shuddered as it entered the planet's atmosphere, buffeted by turbulent winds and strange electromagnetic disturbances. Warning lights flashed across the control panel as the navigation systems faltered. "We're flying blind," Zara called out, her fingers dancing across the unresponsive controls. Logan closed his eyes, reaching out with his enhanced hybrid senses. He could feel the currents of the ionized gas swirling around them, mapping out a safe path through the chaos. "I've got this," he said, taking manual control. His hands moved with uncanny precision, guiding the vessel through the treacherous descent. The ship broke through the dense cloud cover, revealing a barren landscape below. A massive structure loomed on the horizon, the ancient hybridization facility. As they touched down near the entrance, Kira let out a low whistle. That's some impressive architecture for a supposedly abandoned planet. The team disembarked, their feet crunching on the rocky soil. Before them stood a towering archway, its surface etched with intricate patterns. But instead of an entrance, they faced a shimmering wall of energy. Zara approached the barrier, her eyes narrowing as she studied it. "It's not just a force field," she mused. "There's something more complex at work here." As if in response to her words, a series of hidden panels slid open around the archway, revealing a network of biometric scanners. The devices hummed to life, bathing the team in a soft blue light. "It wants a DNA sample," Logan realized. He stepped forward, placing his hand on one of the scanners. The others followed suit, including the volunteers who had come to undergo the hybridization process. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then with a low hum, the energy barrier dissipated. The entrance yawned open, revealing a cavernous interior. "It recognized us," Mira breathed, her skin shifting colors in excitement. As they entered the facility, lights flickered to life, illuminating rows upon rows of sleek hibernation pods. Each was connected to a central hub that remained dark and silent. Logan and Zara approached the control center, their hands hovering over the unfamiliar technology. "Let's see if we can get this place up and running," Logan said. Working together, they began to decipher the ancient systems. Slowly, the facility came to life around them. Holographic displays sprang into existence, filling the air with streams of data. "This is incredible," Zara muttered, her eyes wide as she absorbed the information. "The hybridization process, it's not just about genetics, it's about memory transfer, shared experiences." Logan nodded, thinking back to the intense connection he'd felt with his Ulian mates during their first encounter. That explains a lot. As they delved deeper into the facility's systems, Vela called out from across the chamber. "Logan, Zara, you need to see this." They hurried over to find Vela standing before a hidden doorway. Beyond it lay another chamber, smaller but filled with even more advanced technology. "Apex hybridization," Logan read from a nearby display. "A process to combine the strengths of all three species without the usual limitations." The team exchanged glances, the implications sinking in. This technology could change everything, not just for them, but for the future of human-Ulhian-Zarkoth relations. Before they could discuss further, an urgent transmission broke through the facility's interference. Admiral Henderson's voice crackled over the comms. "Logan, the Purist fleet has arrived earlier than expected. They've engaged our defenses. We need you back here now." The team sprang into action, but Logan hesitated, his gaze fixed on the Apex hybridization chamber. "We don't have time for this," Kira argued, but Logan shook his head. "We might not get another chance," he countered. "This could give us the edge we need." In the end, the decision was made. Logan and his Ulian mates entered the chamber first, while Kira and the volunteers underwent a modified process in the main facility. The Apex hybridization was intense, beyond anything Logan had experienced before. He felt his body changing, adapting, becoming something new. When it was over, he emerged transformed. His skin now shifted colors like an Ulian's, while his muscles retained their human density. He could feel new sensory inputs, heightened awareness. His mates underwent similar changes, each becoming a unique blend of human, Ulian, and Zarkoth traits. As the team regrouped, still adjusting to their new forms, they raced back to their ship. The vessel, now interfaced with their enhanced biology, responded to their thoughts as much as their actions. They broke atmosphere just in time to see the massive space battle unfolding before them. The combined forces of Ulia, Earth, and their Zarkoth allies were engaged in a desperate fight against the Purist fleet. Logan guided their ship towards the fringes of the battle, their advanced cloaking technology allowing them to slip past the initial waves of fighting. As they approached, the team prepared themselves for what lay ahead. "Whatever happens," Logan said, his eyes meeting those of each of his companions, "we're in this together." With that, he disengaged the cloaking device, revealing their presence to both sides of the conflict. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of this battle, but the future of 3 species and the galaxy itself. The hybrid vessel burst into view, its cloaking device disengaged. As it approached the chaotic battle, Logan's enhanced senses took in the scene before him. Zarkoth Purist ships tore through the combined defensive lines of Ulia, Earth, and their allies, pushing relentlessly toward the planet's surface. "Sensors online," Zara announced, her fingers dancing across the control panel. "I'm detecting a massive Purist flagship at the heart of their formation. It's Commander Vex's vessel." Logan nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "We need to split up. Zara, Vela, you're with me. We'll infiltrate Vex's ship. Lyria, Mira, Nara, head to the surface and bolster the ground defenses. Kira, coordinate between us and the Allied forces." As the team prepared for their respective missions, Logan felt a surge of energy coursing through his new Apex hybrid body. He locked eyes with his mates, seeing the same perseverance reflected in their faces. "Let's move," he said. In a flash of light, Logan, Zara, and Vela vanished from the bridge, reappearing moments later in a dimly lit corridor of Commander Vex's flagship. Their hybrid physiology allowed them to bypass the ship's security measures with ease. As they crept through the vessel, Logan's heightened hearing picked up the sound of approaching footsteps. He signaled to his mates, and they pressed themselves against the walls, blending seamlessly with their surroundings. A group of elite Zarkoth guards rounded the corner, their weapons at the ready. In an instant, Logan and his team sprang into action. Logan's fist connected with the first guard's jaw, sending him sprawling. Zara ducked under a swinging energy blade, her legs sweeping out to trip her attacker. Vela grappled with 2 guards at once, her enhanced strength allowing her to lift them off their feet and slam them together. The fight was over in seconds, with the guards unconscious but alive. Logan nodded approvingly at his team's restraint. "Let's keep moving. The bridge isn't far." Meanwhile, Lyria, Mira, and Nara touched down on Ulia's surface, where chaos reigned. Zarkoth landing parties had established beachheads, pushing back the planet's defenders. Lyria reached out with her empathic abilities, sensing the ebb and flow of the battle. "They're planning to flank our forces from the east," she called out to the Ulian commander nearby. "Redirect your troops to intercept." Mira focused her powers, creating a massive holographic illusion of reinforcements arriving. The Zarkoth invaders hesitated, confused by the sudden appearance of additional enemies. Nara moved among the Ulian defenders, her presence bolstering their dedication. "Stand firm," she shouted, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "We will not fall this day." Back on the Zarkoth flagship, Logan's team reached the bridge. With a nod to Zara and Vela, Logan kicked down the door. They burst into the command center, catching Commander Vex and his crew off guard. Vex's eyes widened as he took in their transformed appearances. "What manner of abomination is this?" he snarled. Logan stepped forward, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "Commander Vex, we're not here to fight. We have information that could change everything. Our species share a common ancestry, the hybridization process. Silence, Vex roared, drawing his weapon. I'll hear no more of your lies. Crew, eliminate these intruders. The bridge erupted into chaos. Zara dove for the ship's computer console, her fingers flying across the alien interface as she worked to disable the weapons and communication systems. Vela engaged Vex directly, matching the seasoned commander blow for blow. Logan found himself surrounded by Zarkoth officers. He moved with inhuman speed, disarming and incapacitating his opponents without lethal force. His new hybrid senses allowed him to anticipate attacks before they came, making him seem almost untouchable. As the battle on the flagship raged, Kira's voice crackled over their comm units. Logan, we've detected a massive energy buildup in the Purist fleet. They're charging some kind of doomsday weapon aimed at Ulia. Logan's blood ran cold. He redoubled his efforts, fighting his way towards Vex. We need to shut it down now. On the planet's surface, Lyria, Mira, and Nara received the alert about the doomsday weapon. They exchanged a knowing look, understanding what needed to be done. We need to create a planetary shield, Lyria said, her voice steady despite the enormity of the task. The three Apex hybrids joined hands, channeling energy from Ulia's core and amplifying it with their own life force. A shimmering barrier began to form around the planet, growing stronger with each passing second. Back on the flagship, Logan finally reached Commander Vex. The Zarkoth leader swung his energy blade, but Logan caught his wrist, twisting it until Vex dropped the weapon. Listen to me, Logan insisted, his voice carrying the weight of his conviction. This war is pointless. We can show you the truth about our shared heritage. The hybridization process can benefit all our species. Vex hesitated, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. It was all the opening Logan needed. He pressed his advantage, using his enhanced strength to subdue the commander. Zara, have you found the activation sequence for the doomsday weapon? Logan called out. Almost there, she replied, her eyes never leaving the console. Vela, I need your help with this last firewall. Vela disengaged from her fight, rushing to Zara's side. Together, they worked furiously to disarm the weapon, their hybrid minds processing information at incredible speeds. The seconds ticked by, each moment bringing Ulia closer to destruction. Logan held his breath, watching his mates work. Finally, Zara looked up, a triumphant smile on her face. It's done. The weapon's been deactivated. Relief washed over Logan, but he knew their work wasn't finished. He turned to the ship's communications system, preparing to broadcast a message that would change the course of the war, and perhaps the future of their species. As he began to speak, Logan caught sight of the planet below, partially obscured by the shimmering shield his teammates had created. He felt a surge of pride and tenacity. The battle was just getting started, but for the first time since this conflict began, he dared to hope for a lasting peace. Peace. The purest threat had been neutralized, but the real work was just beginning. As the dust settled on Ulia, Logan and his team found themselves at the center of a new challenge. The Ulian High Council convened an emergency session to address the aftermath of the conflict and the implications of the Apex hybridization process. Logan stood before the council, his skin still shifting colors in response to his emotions. Zara and Vela flanked him, their own hybrid forms drawing curious glances from the assembled counselors. Honorable members of the High Council, Logan began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. We stand before you not just as victors in battle, but as living proof of what our species can achieve together. He gestured to his team, each a unique blend of human, Ulian, and Zarkoth traits. The Apex hybridization process has given us abilities beyond what any single species could possess, but more importantly, it has given us understanding. Zara stepped forward, activating a holographic display. Our enhanced cognition allowed us to decipher the ancient facility's databanks, she explained. We've uncovered irrefutable evidence of our shared ancestry. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as Zara presented their findings. Logan watched the counselors' reactions, noting the mix of awe and apprehension on their faces. One counselor, an elderly Ulian with deep blue skin, raised a hand. While your achievements are impressive, we must consider the societal impact of widespread hybridization. How can we ensure the preservation of our individual cultures and identities? Logan nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. That's precisely why we're proposing the establishment of a tri-species hybridization research institute here on Ulia. We need to study the long-term effects and develop safe protocols for future integration. The council deliberated, their discussion a low hum that Logan's enhanced hearing could easily pick up. Finally, the head counselor spoke. We agree to the formation of this institute. Logan, you and your team will serve as its lead researchers and ambassadors. As news of the Apex hybrid spread, Ulia experienced a surge of immigration requests. Humans and cooperative Zarkoth individuals flooded communication channels, expressing interest in undergoing the hybridization process. Logan found himself working around the clock with Sarah to adapt the Apex hybridization technology for use outside the ancient facility. They converted a large warehouse near the newly established institute into a prototype hybridization chamber. We need to incorporate more safeguards, Zara muttered, her fingers flying over a holographic interface. The genetic stability of the subjects is paramount. Logan nodded, making adjustments to the energy flow regulators. Agreed. We can't risk any unforeseen complications. As they worked, Lyria and Nara focused on integrating the Zarkoth defectors who had sought asylum on Ulia. They established cultural exchange centers in major cities, creating spaces where members of all three species could interact and learn from one another. Lyria stood in the center of one such facility, her empathic abilities helping her guide a group discussion between humans, Ulians, and Zarkoth. Remember, she said softly, our differences are our strength. By understanding each other, we grow stronger together. Meanwhile, Vela threw herself into revamping Ulia's defense strategies. She worked tirelessly with Ulian military leaders to incorporate hybrid tactics and technologies into their plans. On a holographic training field, Vela demonstrated a new combat maneuver to a group of mixed-species recruits. Use your unique abilities in tandem, she instructed, her form blurring with speed as she executed a complex series of moves. Human strength, Ulian agility, Zarkoth sensory perception, together they make you formidable. As the weeks passed, Logan and his team made significant progress in understanding the genetic basis for telepathic abilities. In a secure lab deep within the Institute, they gathered around a holographic display of intertwined DNA strands. There, Logan said, pointing to a specific sequence. That combination of human, Ulian, and Zarkoth genes seems to be the key to unlocking latent psychic potential. Zara's eyes widened as she processed the implications. If we can refine this, we could develop a specialized hybridization protocol for enhancing interspecies communication. Their work didn't go unnoticed. Delegations from Earth and cooperative Zarkoth planets began arriving on Ulia, eager to observe the hybridization process and its effects. Logan found himself playing diplomat more often than not, addressing the concerns of various groups. In one such meeting, he faced a skeptical Earth ambassador. We understand your reservations, Logan said, his tone measured. That's why we're proposing the formation of an interstellar ethics committee to oversee all hybridization research and applications. As the Institute's influence grew, Logan and his Ulian mates noticed ongoing changes in their own bodies. During a routine medical examination, Zara flexed her hand, watching in fascination as her skin rippled with previously unseen patterns. Fascinating, the Ulian doctor murmured, recording the data. Your Apex hybrid physiology continues to evolve and adapt. Logan exchanged glances with his mates, a mix of excitement and trepidation in their eyes. They were charting unknown territory, their own bodies serving as data points for the ongoing research. As the team prepared for their crucial diplomatic mission to Earth, Logan stood on the bridge of their advanced hybrid vessel. He looked out at the stars, acutely aware of the magnitude of their task. Ready for takeoff, Zara announced from her console. Logan nodded, feeling the familiar surge of energy coursing through his hybrid body. Let's go change the galaxy, he said, his voice filled with quiet purpose. The ship's engines hummed to life, propelling them towards Earth in the next chapter in their incredible journey. As Alia receded behind them, Logan knew that the success of their mission could reshape the course of galactic civilization. The challenges ahead were daunting, but he and his team were more than ready to face them. The ship's engines hummed as they approached Earth, the blue-green planet growing larger in the viewscreen. Logan felt a mixture of anticipation and nervousness as he gazed at his home world. So much had changed since he'd last set foot on its surface. "Entering Earth's atmosphere in 5 minutes," Zara announced from her station. "We're receiving landing coordinates from the United Nations spaceport." Logan nodded, taking a deep breath. "All right, team. This is it. Remember, we're here to build bridges, not burn them. Let's show them what we've accomplished." As their ship descended through the atmosphere, Logan caught sight of the sprawling metropolis below. New York City had grown since he'd last seen it, with gleaming towers stretching even higher into the sky. The ship touched down smoothly on the designated landing pad. Through the viewports, Logan could see a large crowd gathered behind security barriers. Many held signs, some welcoming, others decidedly not. "Looks like we've got a welcoming committee," Vela observed, her enhanced vision picking out details in the crowd. "And not all of them are happy to see us." Logan squared his shoulders. "We knew this wouldn't be easy. Let's go show them what humanity can become." As the team disembarked, they were met by a delegation of UN officials and security personnel. The cacophony of the crowd washed over them, a mix of cheers, jeers, and frantic questions from reporters. "Abominations," one protester shouted. "You'll destroy humanity." Logan kept his face neutral, even as he felt a pang of hurt at the words. He reminded himself that fear often came from a lack of understanding. The team was quickly ushered into a secure vehicle and whisked away to the United Nations headquarters. As they traveled, Logan briefed his team one last time. "Remember, we're not here to force anything on anyone. We're here to share information, to open a dialogue. Let's focus on the facts and the potential benefits of controlled hybridization." Inside the UN General Assembly Hall, the atmosphere was tense but controlled. World leaders and dignitaries from every nation filled the seats, their eyes fixed on the unusual group taking the stage. Logan stepped up to the podium, his skin shifting slightly under the bright lights. He took a moment to look out at the sea of faces before beginning his address. "Distinguished delegates, leaders of Earth, I stand before you today not as an alien, nor as a pure human, but as a bridge between worlds. We are here to share with you a discovery that could reshape the future of humanity and our place in the galaxy." As Logan spoke, holographic displays came to life behind him, showcasing data on the hybridization process and its effects. Murmurs rippled through the audience as they saw the enhanced abilities and physical changes demonstrated. To drive his point home, Logan paused in his speech. He pulled out a small knife and, without hesitation, drew it across his palm. Gasps echoed through the hall. "What you're about to witness," Logan said calmly, "is not a trick or special effect." Before the assembled leaders' eyes, the wound on Logan's hand began to close. Within seconds, there was no trace of the cut, not even a scar. "This is just one example of what controlled genetic integration can achieve," Logan continued. "Imagine a world where disease, injury, and even the ravages of age could be things of the past." The presentation continued, with each member of the team demonstrating their unique abilities. Zara showcased her enhanced cognitive abilities by solving complex mathematical equations in seconds. Vela demonstrated feats of strength and agility that left the audience in awe. As the initial presentation concluded, Logan could see the mix of excitement and apprehension on the faces before him. He knew this was just the beginning of a long process. In the days that followed, the team found themselves in a whirlwind of meetings, demonstrations, and debates. They met with top geneticists and medical researchers, providing samples and data for analysis. In a high-security lab at Johns Hopkins University, Logan watched as a team of scientists pored over holographic displays of his hybrid DNA. "The potential applications are staggering," one researcher said, her eyes wide with excitement. "The implications for treating genetic disorders alone?" "We're happy to collaborate," Logan replied, "but we need to ensure proper safeguards are in place. This technology, in the wrong hands, could be devastating." As if to underscore his point, news broke of an incident that sent shockwaves through the diplomatic mission. A group of activists had broken into a research facility, stealing experimental hybrid technology. Logan and his team sprang into action, working with local authorities to track down the stolen equipment. Using their enhanced senses, they were able to locate the hidden cache in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. As they surrounded the building with law enforcement, Logan addressed the team. "Remember, we're here to recover the technology and prevent its misuse. Let's try to willpower this peacefully if we can." The incident served as a stark reminder of the challenges they faced. In its wake, Logan found himself in intense discussions with world leaders about the need for strict regulations and oversight. In a private meeting with the UN Secretary General, Logan laid out his proposal: an international hybrid regulatory agency with representatives from all member nations. It's the only way to ensure this technology is developed and used responsibly. As their time on Earth drew to a close, the team received exciting news from Ulia. Scientists at the Tri-Species Hybridization Research Institute had made a breakthrough in selective trait activation. "This could be the compromise we need," Zara said as they discussed the implications. "A way for people to experience the benefits of hybridization without committing to full genetic integration." Their final days on Earth were a flurry of activity. The team underwent comprehensive medical examinations, providing valuable data on the long-term effects of apex hybridization. The results were promising, showing continued genetic stability and even hints of increased longevity. As they prepared to board their ship for the return journey, Logan was approached by a diverse group of volunteers. Men and women of various ages and backgrounds, all eager to participate in the next phase of hybridization experiments. "We want to be part of this," one young woman said, her eyes shining with persistence, "to help bridge the gap between species." Logan felt a surge of hope as he looked at the volunteers. This, he thought, was what they had been working towards: a future where humanity could reach its full potential among the stars. As the ship lifted off carrying its precious cargo of volunteers and data, Logan allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. They had made progress, opened minds, and laid the groundwork for a new era of cooperation. But their sense of accomplishment was short-lived. As they entered orbit, an urgent communication came through from Ulia. Logan's expression grew serious as he listened to the message. "What is it?" Zara asked, noting the change in his demeanor. Logan turned to his team, his eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. "It's the Zarth purists. They've made a move. We need to get back to Ulia now." As the ship accelerated towards the jump point, Logan's mind raced with possibilities. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew that their work on Earth had been crucial. They had sown the seeds of understanding and cooperation. Now they would need to nurture those seeds in the face of a new threat. The stars streaked past as they entered hyperspace, hurtling back towards Ulia and the next chapter in their ongoing struggle for peace in the galaxy. The ship emerged from hyperspace near Ulia, its sleek form cutting through the inky blackness of space. As they approached the planet's orbit, Logan's comm unit crackled to life with an urgent message from the surface. "Apex team, we have a situation," Admiral Henderson's voice came through, tense and focused. "A group of Zarth purists has infiltrated the hybridization research facility on the southern continent. We need you on the ground immediately." Logan exchanged glances with his team, their expressions a mix of concern and purpose. "Understood, Admiral. We're on our way." The ship banked sharply, descending through Ulia's atmosphere with practiced precision. As they approached the targeted facility, Zara's enhanced vision picked out several Zarth ships maintaining a defensive perimeter in low orbit. "This is a coordinated attack," she reported, her fingers flying over the ship's sensor controls. "They've planned this well." Logan closed his eyes, extending his telepathic senses toward the facility below. The cacophony of thoughts and emotions washed over him. Fear from the hostages, cold willpower from the purists, and underlying it all, a current of fanatical zeal. "Multiple intruders inside," he reported, opening his eyes. "And hostages. We need to move fast." The team's transport touched down a short distance from the facility. As they disembarked, Logan outlined their strategy. Zara, Vela, you're on point. Use your abilities to disable their security systems. The rest of us will breach through the maintenance access. Zara and Vela nodded, their bodies already shifting as they tapped into their hybrid abilities. Zara's skin took on a faint blue glow as she interfaced with the facility's electronic systems, while Vela's muscles rippled and tensed, preparing for action. The two moved swiftly and silently toward the facility's main power conduits. Zara placed her hand on a hidden access panel, her hybrid physiology allowing her to bypass the security protocols. She nodded to Vela, who closed her eyes in concentration. A wave of electromagnetic energy pulsed outward from the pair, temporarily disabling the facility's security systems. Alarms fell silent, and security cameras went dark. "We're clear," Zara's voice came through the team's comm units. "Move in now." Logan led the rest of the team through the maintenance access point, their hybrid senses on high alert. The facility's corridors were eerily quiet, the usual hum of advanced scientific equipment replaced by an oppressive silence. "We'll split up here," Logan whispered as they reached a junction. "Lyria, Nara, you're with me. We'll locate and free the hostages. Zara, Vela, Mira, secure the main research lab. We can't let them access that data." The teams separated, moving with the fluid grace of their hybrid physiology. Logan's group encountered their first resistance near a cluster of holding cells. 4 Zarkoth purists stood guard, their weapons trained on the approaching hybrids. Logan didn't hesitate. He leaped forward, his enhanced strength and speed allowing him to close the distance before the guards could react. His fist connected with the first guard's jaw, the impact sending the Zarkoth flying backward. Lyria and Nara engaged the other guards, their movements a blur of hybrid efficiency. Within seconds, all 4 purists lay unconscious on the floor. Logan approached the holding cells, his heart racing as he saw the frightened faces of the Ullian scientists inside. He placed his hand on the cell's locking mechanism, using his hybrid abilities to override the system. The door slid open with a soft hiss. "We're here to get you out," Logan said, projecting calm through his telepathic link. "Follow us closely and stay quiet." Meanwhile, Zara's team had reached the main laboratory. Through the reinforced windows, they could see purist scientists hunched over computer terminals, frantically trying to access and copy hybridization data. Mira stepped forward, her form shimmering as she generated a series of holographic decoys. The lab filled with illusory figures, confusing and distracting the purists inside. Zara and Vela used the confusion to their advantage, bursting into the lab and engaging the intruders. Vela's enhanced strength made short work of the few purists who tried to fight back, while Zara moved swiftly to the main computer banks. Her fingers danced over the keys, her hybrid mind processing information at an incredible rate. "I'm locking down the systems," she reported. "They haven't managed to copy the core data yet." Suddenly, a purist scientist lunged at Vela, a makeshift weapon gleaming in his hand. Vela twisted, avoiding the brunt of the attack, but the blade still scored a line across her arm. She hissed in pain but didn't falter, subduing her attacker with a well-placed strike. As the immediate threat in the lab subsided, Vela examined her injury. The wound was already closing, her accelerated healing abilities kicking in. The facility shook, the distant sound of explosions reaching their ears. Logan's voice came through their comm units, tight with tension. "The Zarkoth ships are descending. We need to move now." Logan contacted Admiral Henderson, his voice calm despite the chaos around them. "Admiral, we need air support to intercept those ships. We have the hostages, but we're pinned down." "Understood," Henderson replied. "Support is on the way. Hold your position." The Apex hybrid team regrouped in the facility's central atrium. The freed hostages huddled behind them. They formed a defensive perimeter, their enhanced senses stretching out to monitor every approach. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging the atrium into darkness. The team's eyes adjusted instantly, their hybrid physiology adapting to the new conditions. "They're coming," Logan warned, sensing the approach of purist reinforcements. The atrium erupted into chaos as the purists attacked. Logan and his team moved with fluid grace, their hybrid abilities on full display. They fought back-to-back, a seamless unit honed by shared experiences and the unique bond of their Apex hybrid physiology. Logan caught glimpses of the Ullian scientists watching them with a mix of fear and awe. He knew that this display of hybrid abilities could be a powerful argument for their cause if they survived to tell the tale. The battle reached a fever pitch as the sounds of orbital combat filtered through the facility's walls. Admiral Henderson's forces had engaged the Zarkoth ships, the fate of the planet hanging in the balance. As Logan grappled with a particularly large Purus, he felt a surge of relief as Ullian ground troops began pouring into the atrium. The tide of battle turned swiftly, the Purus finding themselves outmatched and outgunned. In the aftermath of the battle, Logan and his team began assessing the damage. They discovered that the Purus had been specifically targeting data on the Apex hybridization process, a revelation that opened up new questions and potential threats. As they worked with Ullian security forces to secure the facility and implement new protection measures, Logan couldn't shake the feeling that this attack was just the beginning. The Zarkoth Purists had shown their hand, and the stakes of their mission had never been higher. Little did they know that as they prepared for their next move against the Purists, a message from Earth was about to change everything once again. Logan's eyes widened as he processed the incoming transmission. A message from Earth? Patch it through immediately. Dr. Samantha Henderson's face appeared on the interface, her expression a mix of excitement and urgency. Logan, we've made a breakthrough in hybridization technology. You and your team need to return to Earth as soon as possible. The Apex hybrid team exchanged glances, their recent confrontation with the Zarkoth Purists still fresh in their minds. Logan nodded decisively. We're on our way, Doctor. Send us the coordinates for your facility. As their ship changed course for Earth, Logan briefed his team on Dr. Henderson's preliminary findings. The possibility of selective trait activation could revolutionize their approach to hybridization and potentially alleviate concerns among those hesitant to embrace full genetic integration. Upon landing at the research facility, the team was greeted by Dr. Henderson herself. Her resemblance to her sister, Lieutenant Kira Henderson, was striking. Welcome back to Earth, she said, leading them through the facility's secure corridors. I'm eager to show you what we've discovered. In the main laboratory, Dr. Henderson presented her team's findings on the new gene editing technique. Holographic displays flickered to life, showcasing the intricate genetic manipulations that allowed for precise control over hybrid traits. The implications are enormous, Dr. Henderson explained, her fingers dancing across a control panel to bring up detailed genetic maps. We can potentially activate specific hybrid abilities in non-hybridized individuals without full genetic integration. Logan stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the data streaming across the screens. I'd like to volunteer as the first test subject, he said, his voice firm with grit. Let's start with temporarily suppressing my Zarkoth regenerative abilities. Dr. Henderson nodded, her team already preparing the necessary equipment. Logan lay on the examination table, electrodes attached to his temples and chest. The room hummed with energy as the gene editing process began. For several tense minutes, the team watched as Logan's genetic structure was carefully manipulated. Finally, Dr. Henderson announced, "The procedure is complete. Logan, how do you feel?" Logan sat up, flexing his fingers experimentally. No different, really. How do we test if it worked? Dr. Henderson produced a small, sterile blade. With your permission? Logan nodded, extending his arm. Dr. Henderson made a shallow cut across his forearm. The team watched in fascination as the wound remained open, slowly forming a scab like a normal human injury. Remarkable, Zara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. His healing factor is completely suppressed. Over the next few hours, the team underwent a battery of tests, pushing the limits of Dr. Henderson's new technique. They discovered they could selectively activate and deactivate various hybrid traits with unprecedented precision. As news of their breakthrough spread, the facility became a hive of activity. Government officials and international observers arrived, eager to witness the potential of this new technology firsthand. Logan found himself before a United Nations Special Committee, testifying alongside Dr. Henderson about their findings and addressing concerns about potential misuse. This technology represents a bridge between human and hybrid physiology, Logan explained to the assembled delegates. It offers a gradual path to integration that could allay fears and promote understanding between our species. As the political discussions continued, Logan received an urgent communication from Admiral Henderson on Ulia. The Admiral's face was grim as he relayed the latest intelligence. "Logan, we've uncovered evidence of a larger purist conspiracy. They're attempting to create their own version of Apex hybrids using stolen research data." Logan's eyebrows furrowed at the news. "We'll return to Ulia immediately, Admiral. We can't let them succeed." As the team prepared to depart, alarms blared throughout the facility. Security feeds showed a group of armed extremists breaching the outer perimeter. "Human extremists," Dr. Henderson explained, her voice tense. "They oppose any form of hybridization. We need to protect the research." Logan's team sprang into action, their hybrid abilities on full display as they engaged the attackers. They moved with fluid grace, coordinating their efforts through telepathic communication. Zarth disabled the extremists' communications with an electromagnetic pulse, while Vela's enhanced strength allowed her to create barricades from heavy equipment. Mira's illusions confused and disoriented the attackers, giving Logan and the others the advantage they needed. In the chaos of the battle, Logan didn't notice the extremist who managed to get behind him until it was too late. A sharp pain lanced through his neck as the attacker injected him with an unknown compound. Logan staggered, his vision blurring as his hybrid physiology began to fluctuate wildly. One moment he felt invincible, his strength magnified beyond its usual limits. The next he could barely stand, his senses dulled and confused. "Zara," he called out, his voice strained. "Something's wrong. My abilities, they're out of control." Zara was at his side in an instant, her eyes narrowing as she assessed his condition. "Dr. Henderson," she shouted over the din of the ongoing battle. "We need your help. Logan's been injected with something that's destabilizing his hybrid physiology." As the rest of the team continued to hold off the attackers, Zara and Dr. Henderson worked feverishly to counteract the unknown compound. They used the new gene editing technique to isolate and neutralize the foreign substance in Logan's system. "Hold on, Logan," Dr. Henderson murmured, her fingers flying over the control panel. "We're almost there." With a final surge of energy from the gene editing device, Logan felt his body stabilize. He took a deep breath, his senses once again sharp and clear. "Thank you," he said, squeezing Zara's hand. "Now let's finish this." With renewed focus, Logan rejoined the fight. The team's coordination and hybrid abilities proved too much for the extremists, who were soon subdued and taken into custody. In the aftermath of the attack, Logan and his team worked with Earth authorities to enhance security measures around the facility and establish protocols for the safe development of hybridization technology. Before departing for Ulia, they oversaw the creation of a secure international hybrid research network. This would allow for the safe sharing of data between Earth, Ulia, and cooperative Zarkoth worlds while maintaining strict security against unauthorized access. As they prepared to board their ship, a final transmission came through from Admiral Henderson. "The Purists have launched a major offensive against several Ulian colonies," he reported, his voice grave. "We need you back here now." Logan exchanged determined looks with his team as they boarded their advanced hybrid vessel. As the ship lifted off, racing toward the jump point that would take them back to Ulian space, Logan reviewed the battle plans on his datapad. "We'll be ready for them," he said, his voice steady as the ship entered hyperspace. The stars streaked past, carrying them toward a conflict that would shape the future of 3 species and the very nature of hybridization itself. The stars purposed into pinpricks of light as Logan's hybrid vessel emerged from hyperspace near Ulian space. The ship's sensors immediately lit up with a flurry of activity, and Admiral Henderson's face appeared on the main view screen, his expression grim. "Logan, the situation is critical," the Admiral said, his voice tight. "The Zarkoth Purist offensive has already begun. Multiple Ulian colonies are under attack." Logan nodded, his mind already racing through tactical scenarios. "We're ready, Admiral. Send us the priority targets." As the data streamed in, Logan quickly assessed the situation and made a decision. "We'll split up to cover more ground," he announced to his team. "Zara, Vela, you're with me. We'll head to Novus Prime. Lyria, Mira, Nara, you take the research outpost on Helios 7. The team moved with practiced efficiency, prepping for their respective missions. As they approached Novus Prime, the chaos of the space battle came into full view. Zarkoth battleships exchanged fire with Ulian defense platforms. The void between them lit up with energy weapons and explosions. Logan piloted their vessel through the fray, its hybrid technology allowing them to outmaneuver the larger ships. They weaved through debris and weapons fire, aiming for a gap in the planet's compromised orbital defenses. Purist landing force detected, Zara reported, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. They're attempting to breach the main research facility. Logan set the ship on a course for the facility. Prepare for a high-altitude drop, he ordered. Moments later, Logan, Zara, and Vela plummeted through Novus Prime's atmosphere. They used their enhanced physiology to control their descent, landing on the facility's roof with impact-absorbing precision. The scene below was one of chaos. Purist forces had established a perimeter around the facility, their neural disruptor weapons cutting down hybrid defenders with ruthless efficiency. Logan's regenerative abilities kicked in as he took a glancing hit from a disruptor beam. He shook off the numbness and engaged the nearest Purist soldier, his enhanced strength sending the attacker flying. Zara's fingers flew over her portable interface, hacking into the facility's systems. "I've got control of the defensive turrets," she called out, "bringing them online now." The facility's automated defenses sprang to life, providing much-needed covering fire for the beleaguered defenders. Vela used her enhanced agility to outflank a group of Purists, disarming them with a series of lightning-fast strikes. As the battle raged on, Logan noticed a disturbing trend. "The neural disruptors," he said into his comm, "they're specifically targeting hybrid nervous systems. We need to warn the others." He quickly relayed the information to Admiral Henderson while dodging another disruptor blast. The Admiral's response was immediate. "Understood. We're working on countermeasures now." Meanwhile, on Helios 7, Lyria, Mira, and Nara approached the research outpost. The facility's external defenses were silent, a clear sign of Purist infiltration. "I'm sensing multiple hostile presences inside," Nara reported, her empathic abilities scanning the outpost. Lyria nodded. "Let's move in quietly. Mira, can you provide some distractions?" Mira concentrated, and suddenly, holographic decoys of the team appeared at various points around the facility. As the Purist forces reacted to the false intrusions, the real team slipped inside. They made their way towards a central database, communicating telepathically to avoid detection. As they approached the core, they encountered unexpected resistance. A team of Purist scientists were frantically working at the main console, downloading data and initiating deletion protocols. Lyria and Nara moved to engage them, while Mira maintained their holographic cover. In the ensuing struggle, a Purist managed to activate a neural disruptor. Nara, caught in the burst, cried out as her empathic abilities spiraled out of control. She collapsed, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of emotions from friends and foes alike. Lyria fought through the chaos to reach the console, her enhanced intelligence allowing her to counter the Purist's actions. She managed to secure most of the data, but not before a portion was transmitted to an unknown location. Back on Novus Prime, Logan saw an opportunity to gather crucial intelligence. He allowed himself to be hit by a neural disruptor, feigning incapacitation. As Purist forces moved to secure him, he caught Zara's eye and gave an almost imperceptible nod. Zara and Vela provided cover, making Logan's capture appear genuine. They watched as he was taken aboard the Purist command ship, trusting in his ability to gather the information they desperately needed. Aboard the Purist vessel, Logan bided his time, allowing his hybrid physiology to shake off the effects of the neural disruptor. He listened intently to the chatter around him, piecing together fragments of the Purist's overall strategy. As the battles on Novus Prime and Helios 7 began to turn in favor of the defenders, Logan made his move. He broke free from his restraints and fought his way through the Purist ship, accessing their main computer core. What he discovered chilled him to the bone. The Purists had established a secret base deep within the Zarkoth exclusion zone, a region of space thought to be uninhabitable. There they were attempting to create their own hybrid army, loyal only to the Purist cause. Logan quickly transmitted this intelligence to his team before his presence was detected. He commandeered a small craft and escaped the Purist ship, dodging weapons fire as he made his way back to Novus Prime. As the immediate threats to both Novus Prime and Helios 7 were contained, the team regrouped. They shared their findings, each piece of information painting a clearer picture of the grave threat they faced. Admiral Henderson's face appeared on their comm displays. "We're mobilizing a joint task force based on the intelligence you've gathered," he informed them. "Your next mission is critical. You must infiltrate the Purist base in the exclusion zone and neutralize their hybridization facility." Logan looked at his team, seeing the persistence in their eyes. They boarded their hybrid vessel, setting a course for the dangerous and uncharted Zarth exclusion zone. As they prepared for the perilous journey ahead, Logan began to formulate a plan. They would need to navigate the zone's hazardous environment, infiltrate a heavily fortified base, and stop the creation of an army that could tip the balance of the entire conflict. The hybrid vessel accelerated, leaving the relative safety of Ulian space behind. Ahead lay uncertainty, danger, and a race against time to prevent the rise of a new and terrifying hybrid threat. As the hybrid vessel approached the Zarth exclusion zone, the team's anticipation grew. Logan's eyes narrowed as he spotted a shimmering distortion ahead. "Energy barrier detected," Zara announced, her fingers flying over the control panel. "It's massive, encompassing the entire zone." The ship shuddered as it encountered the barrier's outer edge. Warning lights flashed across the console as the vessel's systems strained against the intense radiation. "We can't push through," Logan decided, gritting his teeth. "Vela, find us a safe place to land. We need to regroup." Vela scanned the nearby area and pointed to a sizable asteroid. "There. It's stable enough for a temporary base." As they touched down on the rocky surface, the team disembarked, their hybrid physiology adapting to the low gravity. Logan surveyed the barren landscape, his enhanced vision picking up an anomaly in the distance. "Look," he said, gesturing to a dark opening in the asteroid's face. "Some kind of structure." The team cautiously approached, finding the entrance to an abandoned Zarth outpost. Inside, they discovered a control room filled with outdated but functional equipment. Zara's eyes lit up as she examined the alien technology. "This is a monitoring station for the exclusion zone," she explained, her enhanced intelligence quickly deciphering the unfamiliar systems. "And look at this." She pulled up a series of complex energy signatures on the main screen. "There's a hidden frequency. If we can replicate it, we might be able to pass through the barrier undetected." As the team worked to gather the necessary data, a loud crash echoed through the outpost. Logan spun around, his hybrid senses on high alert. "We're not alone," he warned. Suddenly, a group of Zarth scavengers burst into the control room, their weapons raised. Logan reacted instantly, launching himself at the nearest attacker. The room erupted into chaos as the hybrid team engaged their ambushers in close combat. Vela moved with incredible speed, disarming two Zarth with a series of precise strikes. But as she turned to face a third, the alien's blade found a gap in her defense, slicing deep into her leg. She stumbled, momentarily vulnerable. Logan saw Vela falter and leaped to her aid, his enhanced strength allowing him to throw her attacker across the room. The brief skirmish ended as quickly as it began, with the scavengers either unconscious or fleeing. "Vela, your leg," Lyria said, moving to examine the wound. Vela winced but remained standing. "It's already healing," she assured them, watching as the gash began to close. Perks of being a hybrid. With the immediate threat neutralized, the team returned to their ship, armed with the data from the outpost. Zara worked tirelessly to modify their vessel's systems, attuning them to the hidden frequency. "It's done," she announced as the ship's energy signature shifted. "We should be able to pass through the barrier now." Logan took the controls, guiding the vessel back towards the shimmering wall of energy. As they approached, the ship's hull vibrated but held strong. Then with a final surge of power, they broke through. The exclusion zone stretched out before them, a treacherous expanse of swirling radiation and gravitational anomalies. Logan's hands tightened on the controls as he navigated through a field of tumbling space debris. "I've got something," Mira called out, her eyes fixed on the sensor readouts. Coordinates matched the intel on the Purist base. As they neared their target, a massive shape loomed out of a dense nebula. Before Logan could react, the ship lurched violently. "Tractor beam," Zara shouted. "It's pulling us in." Logan fought the controls, attempting evasive maneuvers, but the invisible force proved too strong. They watched helplessly as their vessel was dragged towards a docking bay on the hidden space station. With a final metallic clang, the airlock sealed behind them. The team exchanged tense looks as they prepared to disembark. "Stay alert," Logan warned as the outer door slid open. "We don't know what we're walking into." They emerged into an eerily quiet docking bay. Signs of recent activity were everywhere, but no immediate threat presented itself. Logan's hybrid senses stretched out, searching for any hidden dangers as they made their way deeper into the station. Security checkpoints barred their path, but Zara's advanced hacking skills made short work of them. As they progressed, the distant hum of machinery grew louder, punctuated by muffled voices. The team rounded a corner and found themselves on a large observation deck. Below, through a massive viewport, they saw rows upon rows of hybridization pods. Each contained a Zarkoth subject in various stages of genetic modification. Logan's stomach churned at the sight. "They're further along than we thought," he murmured. "We need to shut this down now." Before they could formulate a plan, alarms blared throughout the station. Red warning lights bathed the corridor in an ominous glow. "Our presence has been detected," Nara confirmed, her empathic abilities sensing the sudden spike of activity throughout the station. Logan's mind raced, quickly assessing their options. "We need to split up," he decided. "Zara, you're with me. We'll head for the central control room and shut down the hybridization process. The rest of you, free those Zarkoth subjects and gather whatever evidence you can find." As the team separated, Logan and Zara encountered their first wave of resistance. These weren't ordinary Purist soldiers, but partially hybridized Zarkoth, their movements unnaturally fast and strong. Logan ducked under a lightning-quick punch, countering with a swift kick that sent his attacker flying. Beside him, Zara's hands moved in a blur, manipulating the station's systems to turn its own defenses against the Purist forces. They fought their way through corridor after corridor, their hybrid abilities pushed to the limit. Finally, they reached the central control room, where a lone figure awaited them. "Ah, the famous Logan and his Apex hybrid team," the Zarkoth scientist sneered. "I am Dr. Vexlor, and you're too late to stop what I've begun." Logan tensed, sensing the danger emanating from the Purist leader. "We'll see about that," he growled, launching himself forward as the final confrontation began. Logan's muscles tensed as he faced Dr. Vexlor, the Purist leader's eyes gleaming with malice. Without warning, the station shuddered violently, throwing both combatants off balance. Alarms blared, their shrill cries echoing through the control room. "Warning, core meltdown imminent. Evacuate immediately," an automated voice announced. Seizing the moment of distraction, Dr. Vexlor lunged at Logan, tackling him through an emergency airlock. The door hissed shut behind them as they tumbled into the void of space. Zero gravity enveloped them as they grappled, their enhanced bodies adapting swiftly to the harsh environment. Logan's fist connected with Vexlor's jaw, the force sending them spinning away from each other. They used nearby debris as leverage, propelling themselves back into the fray. Inside the station, Zara's fingers flew across the control panel. She had successfully shut down the hybridization process, but the power core's instability threatened to destroy everything. Come on," she muttered, initiating emergency protocols to stabilize the core. Warning lights flashed across the screen, indicating critical failures throughout the station systems. Meanwhile, Vela led the charge through the station's corridors, guiding the freed Zarkoth subjects towards the docking bay. Lyria and Mira flanked the group, while Nara used her empathic abilities to sense incoming threats. "Purist forces approaching from the left," Nara warned, her voice tight with concentration. Vela nodded, quickly assessing their options. "Lyria, take point. Mira, create a holographic diversion to our right." As Purist security rounded the corner, they were met with a barrage of precision strikes from Lyria. Mira's holograms drew their fire, allowing the group to push through with minimal casualties. Outside, Logan and Dr. Vexlor continued their relentless battle. Their enhanced vision allowed them to track the rapidly deteriorating condition of the station. Sections began to rupture, venting atmosphere and debris into space. Logan's mind raced, formulating a plan. He maneuvered himself and Vexler towards a nearby airlock, timing their movements precisely. As a damaged section of the station exploded, the resulting pressure wave propelled them back inside. They crashed onto the floor of a dimly lit corridor. Logan, recovering first, delivered a swift blow to Vexler's temple, rendering the purist leader unconscious. In the control room, Zara made a difficult decision. "I can't stabilize it," she announced to herself, initiating an emergency shutdown sequence. The lights flickered and died as power was cut to non-essential systems. Using her enhanced senses, Zara navigated through the darkened corridors. She rendezvoused with Logan, who was dragging the unconscious Dr. Vexler. "We need to move," Logan said urgently. "This place is about to blow." They rushed toward the docking bay, where they found the rest of the team and the freed Zarkoth subjects waiting anxiously. Mira immediately created a holographic model of their ship. "We have a problem," she said, gesturing to the limited space. Zara studied the model intently. "If we reconfigure the cargo hold and use the emergency life support systems, we might just make it work." As they began boarding procedures, a group of purist loyalists burst into the docking bay. Logan, Vela, and Lyria moved to intercept, engaging in a fierce firefight. Laser bolts crisscrossed the air as the team provided cover for the others. A stray shot struck the docking clamps, causing the hybrid vessel to drift away from the station. "We're losing our window," Zara shouted from the ship's entrance. Logan assessed the widening gap. With a burst of speed, he sprinted toward the edge of the docking bay. Time seemed to slow as he leaped, arms outstretched towards the retreating airlock. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed he wouldn't make it. Then his fingers grasped the edge of the airlock, and he pulled himself inside. Zara sealed the door behind him as the ship accelerated away from the doomed station. The vessel, now dangerously overcrowded, navigated through a field of debris. Logan took control, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to plot a safe course. Suddenly, the space behind them lit up with a blinding flash. The station's power core had finally given way, unleashing a massive explosion. A shockwave of energy and debris raced towards them, threatening to tear the ship apart. Logan's hands flew across the controls, pushing the hybrid vessel to its limits. He weaved through the chaos, narrowly avoiding collision with chunks of the destroyed station. The ship shuddered and groaned under the strain, but Logan's expert piloting kept them just ahead of the destructive wave. As they cleared the edge of the debris field, the shock wave dissipated, leaving them battered but intact. Emerging from the exclusion zone, Logan activated their distress beacon. "This is the Apex hybrid team requesting immediate assistance," he transmitted. "We have multiple Zarkoth refugees on board and one high-value purist prisoner." As they waited for a response, the team began tending to the freed subjects and securing Dr. Vexler. Logan looked around at his exhausted crew, knowing that their mission was far from finished. The information they had gathered and the lives they had saved would have far-reaching consequences for all three species. Admiral Henderson's voice crackled over the comm system. "Apex team, this is Henderson. Rescue ships are en route to your position. Well done." Logan allowed himself a moment of relief before turning his attention to the challenges that lay ahead. They had struck a significant blow against the purists, but the war for acceptance and unity was just beginning. As the rescue ships appeared on their sensors, Logan began formulating plans for their next move in this ongoing struggle. As the rescue ships appeared on their sensors, Logan began formulating plans for their next move in this ongoing conflict. The bridge of their hybrid vessel buzzed with activity as the team prepared for the rendezvous. Zara's fingers danced across the control panel, establishing a secure communication link with the approaching fleet. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing Admiral Henderson's stern visage. "Apex team, this is a secure channel," the Admiral said, his voice tinged with urgency. "The destruction of the purist base has had far-reaching consequences. We're detecting significant political upheaval among the Zarkoth." Logan leaned forward, his enhanced senses picking up every nuance of the Admiral's expression. "What kind of upheaval, sir?" A faction of moderate Zarkoth leaders has reached out to us, Henderson replied. They're impressed by your team's abilities and are proposing negotiations for a more integrated galactic society. The news sent a ripple of surprise through the bridge. Vela and Lyria exchanged meaningful glances, while Mira's holographic projections flickered with new data streams. That's unexpected, Logan said, his mind racing with the implications. What's our next move? First things first, Henderson responded. We need to get those Zarkoth subjects to safety and secure Dr. Vexler. Prepare for immediate transfer operations. The next hours passed in a blur of controlled chaos. Logan coordinated with the rescue ships, overseeing the careful transfer of the freed Zarkoth. Medical teams swarmed the arrivals, their specialized equipment humming as they began assessing the subject's conditions. Dr. Vexler, still unconscious, was placed in a high-security stasis pod. Logan watched as the pod was loaded onto a heavily armed transport, its destination a maximum security facility on Ulia. As the last of the rescued Zarkoth were evacuated, Logan gathered his team on the bridge. Their faces showed a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. We're not done yet, he told them, his voice firm. Our next stop is Ulia. We need to undergo full medical evaluations to assess any effects from our exposure to the exclusion zone. The journey back to Ulia was tense, filled with debriefings and preliminary medical scans. Upon arrival, they were whisked away to a state-of-the-art medical facility. Logan lay still as advanced imaging devices passed over his body, the air filled with the soft hum of machinery. Dr. Samantha Henderson, her face a mask of concentration, studied the results. Fascinating, she murmured. Your hybrid physiology seems to have adapted to the radiation exposure. This could potentially grant you increased resistance to various environmental hazards. Before Logan could fully process this information, they were summoned to an emergency session of the Ulian High Council. The Grand Chamber was packed with representatives from various factions, their voices a low murmur of tension and anticipation. Logan and his team presented their findings, including the data recovered from the Purispace's computers. The counselors listened intently, their expressions grave as they grasped the full scope of what had transpired. After hours of deliberation, the council reached a decision. A special rehabilitation program would be established for the freed Zarkoth, aimed at gradually integrating them into Ulian society. As the session concluded, Earth's ambassador approached Logan. We're proposing a galactic summit, she informed him, to address the future of hybridization technology and interspecies relations. It will be held on a neutral space station, equidistant from Earth, Ulia, and the main Zarkoth worlds. Logan nodded, understanding the weight of this proposal. When? Preparations are already underway, the ambassador replied, but there's more. We need your team to oversee security for the event. Intelligence suggests possible sabotage attempts by anti-hybridization extremists. The next weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Logan divided his time between training a new generation of hybrid operatives and preparing for the summit. They established an advanced facility on Ulia's moon, complete with simulations of alien environments and scenarios. Dr. Samantha Henderson arrived with her team, setting up a joint laboratory in the Tri-Species Hybridization Research Institute. Logan watched as humans and Ulians worked side by side, refining the selective gene activation technique. Amidst the preparations, troubling reports reached Logan's desk. Intelligence indicated that remnants of the Zarkoth Purist faction were regrouping in a distant star system. He began formulating plans for a covert operation, knowing they would need to act soon to prevent the extremists from gaining a foothold. As the date of the summit drew near, Logan and his team underwent specialized diplomatic training. They immersed themselves in the intricacies of interspecies etiquette and negotiation tactics, acutely aware of the impact their actions would have on galactic relations. The final piece fell into place when Dr. Henderson approached them with a groundbreaking procedure. This could enhance your ability to control and modulate your hybrid traits, she explained. It could be crucial for your roles as mediators and protectors during the negotiations. Logan considered the risks, then nodded. Let's do it. The procedure was intense, pushing their hybrid physiology to new limits. As Logan regained consciousness, he could already feel the difference. a new level of control over his abilities that he had never experienced before. With final preparations complete, Logan and his team boarded their specially designed diplomatic vessel. As the ship lifted off from Ulia's surface, Logan gazed out at the stars, his enhanced vision picking out the distant pinprick of light that marked their destination. The vessel accelerated, leaving Ulia behind. Logan turned to his team, seeing the same mix of willpower and apprehension on their faces that he felt himself. They were heading into uncharted territory, carrying the hopes of 3 species with them. As they entered hyperspace, Logan allowed himself a moment of reflection. The summit would be a crucible, testing not only their diplomatic skills but also their newly enhanced abilities. And beyond that loomed the threat of the regrouping purists, a shadow that could not be ignored. The ship's sensors beeped, indicating the approach of their first checkpoint. Logan took a deep breath, centering himself. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he and his team would face them together. The next phase of their journey was about to begin. The next phase of their journey was about to unfold as the ship emerged from hyperspace, the neutral space station looming before them. Logan's enhanced vision picked out the intricate details of the massive structure. Its sleek, cylindrical form was adorned with docking bays, observation domes, and the glowing trails of maintenance drones. As they approached, Logan activated the ship's comm system. "Apex hybrid team requesting docking clearance," he said, his voice steady despite the tension coursing through him. A crisp, automated response came through. "Clearance granted. Proceed to docking bay Alpha 7. Logan expertly guided their vessel into the designated bay, the magnetic clamps engaging with a soft thud. As the airlock cycled, he turned to his team. "Remember, we're not just delegates here. We're security. Stay alert." They disembarked, immediately fanning out to implement their security measures. Zara interfaced with the station's systems, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface as she set up advanced sensor arrays. Vela coordinated with the station's existing security force, her authoritative voice echoing through the docking bay as she assigned positions and protocols. Lyria and Nara moved through the gathering crowds, their empathic senses on high alert for any hostile intentions. Mira's holographic form flickered between key locations, setting up a network of invisible observation points. Logan made his way to the station's security hub, where he was met by a stern-faced Ulian officer. "Commander Logan," the officer said, extending a hand. "I'm Chief Vexnor. We've prepared a command center for your team as requested." Logan nodded, following Vexnor into a room filled with screens and holographic displays. As they entered, a priority communication came through. Admiral Henderson's face appeared on the main screen, his expression grave. "Logan, we have a situation," Henderson said without preamble. "Intelligence reports indicate a group of anti-hybridization extremists has infiltrated the station. They're disguised as service personnel." Logan's mind raced, already formulating a plan. "Understood, sir. We're on it." He quickly relayed the information to his team through their secure comms. "Zara, I need you to access the station's personnel records. Cross-reference recent hires with any suspicious patterns." "On it," Zara's voice came back, tinged with the slight echo that indicated she was deep in a virtual interface. "Vela, coordinate with station security. Set up checkpoints at all critical junctions." "Already in progress," Vela responded. As the summit's opening ceremony began, Logan felt a prickle of unease. He watched the main hall through multiple camera feeds, his enhanced senses picking up minute details of body language and expressions. Suddenly, Lyria's voice crackled over the comm. "Logan, we're detecting a surge of negative emotions near the east entrance of the main hall." "Move in, but stay discreet," Logan ordered, already on his way. He had just reached the corridor leading to the east entrance when the first explosion rocked the station. Alarms blared as smoke billowed from ruptured conduits. Through the chaos, Logan saw a group of figures in maintenance uniforms moving with purpose, weapons drawn. "Hostiles identified," he shouted into his comm. "Main hall, east side. They're making a move on the delegates." Logan sprinted toward the conference hall, his hybrid physiology allowing him to navigate the suddenly treacherous terrain with ease. He leapt over a fallen support beam, rolled under a spray of sparks, and burst through the doors just in time to see the extremists taking control of the room. Their leader, a scarred Zarth, held a pulsing device in one hand and a plasma rifle in the other. "Nobody move," he roared. "This ends now. No more abominations. No more hybrids." Logan assessed the situation in a heartbeat. 20 hostiles, at least 50 hostages, including key delegates from all three species. The device in the leader's hand likely a detonator for more explosives. "Team, converge on my position," he subvocalized into his comm. "Mira, I need distractions. Zara, work on disabling that detonator remotely. Lyria, Nara, focus on keeping the hostages calm." As his team acknowledged, Logan locked eyes with Vela across the room. A silent understanding passed between them. It was time to show exactly what Apex hybrids could do. Logan tensed, ready to spring into action. The fate of the summit, and perhaps the future of interspecies relations, now hung in the balance. Whatever happened next would shape the course of galactic history. Logan took a deep breath, his enhanced senses heightened by the surge of adrenaline. In that moment, a priority transmission cut through the chaos. Admiral Henderson's voice crackled over Logan's secure comm channel. "Logan, abort the summit operation. We have a critical situation." Logan's mind raced, torn between the immediate threat and the Admiral's urgency. He made a split-second decision. "Vela, take point here. I need to receive this transmission." With a nod, Vela sprang into action, her lithe form blurring as she engaged the extremists. Logan ducked into a nearby alcove, activating his secure holographic interface. Admiral Henderson's face materialized. Lines of worry etched deeply into his features. "Logan, we've received an unexpected transmission from Dr. Vexler. He's escaped custody." Logan's blood ran cold. "How is that possible?" "We're still investigating, but that's not the worst of it. The attack on the summit is a diversion. Vexler claims there's a doomsday device hidden within Ulia's moon, right where your hybrid training facility is located." The implications hit Logan like a physical blow. "The entire moon is at risk, and Ulia with it?" Henderson nodded grimly. "You need to split your team. The summit situation must be contained, but we need our best on that moon ASAP." Logan's mind whirred, formulating a plan. "Understood, sir. I'll take Zara with me to the moon. The rest of the team can handle things here." "Godspeed, Logan. The fate of 3 species may rest on this." As the transmission cut out, Logan rejoined the fray. He quickly relayed the situation to his team, their faces a mixture of shock and perseverance. "Vela, you're in charge here. Neutralize the threat and secure the delegates. Lyria, Nara, Mira, you're with her. Zara, you're with me. We're heading to the moon." Without waiting for acknowledgement, Logan and Zara sprinted for their ship. As they ran, Logan could hear the sounds of combat behind them, trusting his team to handle the situation. They reached their vessel in record time, Zara's fingers flying over the controls as they prepared for emergency launch. The ship shot out of the docking bay, streaking towards Ulia's moon. As they approached, Logan activated the ship's advanced sensors. "Scan for any unusual energy signatures," he instructed Zara. Her eyes widened as the results came in. "Logan, I'm detecting something unlike anything we've ever encountered. It's a fusion of Zarkoth and Ulian technology." Logan's teeth clenched. "That makes it highly unstable and infinitely more dangerous." They brought the ship in for a landing near the hybrid training facility, the familiar structure now ominous in the face of the hidden threat. As they disembarked, Logan's enhanced senses picked up faint vibrations through the moon's surface. "Be ready for anything," he warned Zara. "Vexler's had time to prepare." They approached the facility cautiously, Logan's muscles coiled for action. As they reached the main entrance, a barrage of energy blasts erupted from concealed turrets. Logan and Zara moved in perfect synchronization, their hybrid reflexes allowing them to dodge and weave through the assault. Zara's hands blurred as she manipulated the facility's systems remotely, trying to disable the defenses. "He's locked me out," she shouted, frustration evident in her voice. "We'll have to do this the hard way." Logan nodded, his body already shifting to activate his more resilient Ulian traits. "Then let's not waste any more time." They plunged into the facility, fighting their way through waves of automated defenses. Robotic sentries emerged from hidden compartments, their weapons charged and ready. Logan and Zara moved as one, their movements a deadly dance as they dispatched one threat after another. As they delved deeper into the complex, the air grew heavy with an oppressive energy. Logan could feel it prickling against his skin, his hybrid physiology reacting to the unknown force. They rounded a corner and found themselves face to face with a sight that made Logan's blood run cold. Dr. Vexler stood before them, but he was barely recognizable. His body had been twisted and mutated, a grotesque fusion of human, Olean, and Zarkoth features. "Ah, Logan," Vexler's voice was a guttural growl. "Come to witness the culmination of my work?" Logan's eyes narrowed. "Your work? You mean your atrocities? This ends now, Vexler." The mutated scientist let out a chilling laugh. "On the contrary, my boy, this is only the beginning." With that, Vexler lunged forward, his mutated form moving with unnatural speed. Logan and Zara sprang into action, their hybrid abilities pushed to the limit as they engaged in a brutal fight. As they battled, Zara managed to interface with a nearby console. "Logan," she called out, dodging a vicious swipe from Vexler. "I've accessed the device's control systems, but it's worse than we thought. If we deactivate it incorrectly, it could trigger a chain reaction. The moon, Olia, they'd all be at risk." Logan grunted as he blocked a powerful blow from Vexler. His mind raced, weighing their options. In a flash of inspiration, he made a decision that would push their hybrid abilities further than ever before. "Zara, we're going to contain and redirect the energy ourselves." Her eyes widened in understanding and commitment. As Logan kept Vexler occupied, Zara began the delicate process of interfacing with the Doomsday device. The chamber filled with crackling energy as Logan and Zara prepared to attempt the impossible. The fate of millions hung in the balance as they steeled themselves for the challenge ahead.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.